conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show. And Montgomery needs a new mayor. What do you say to that, Eddie Vader?
I agree 1,010%.
Just a nice day.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
A little cloudy out there.
A little cloudy, feel a little bit of
but
rain.
it's not so hot that
Right.
I can't enjoy the outside.
Right.
Because that's how it was yesterday afternoon. The
And
humidity.
by the way, you look like you party next to the sun of late. You look like you're about to join a bodybuilding competition.
No, I am thinking about moving to Cali, though.
You look like you're about to do a performance in like a movie playing a Mexican guy. Like, what is
Really?
going on with you? Why are you so dark? You're so tan.
A lot of my real estate is outside, so I've been outside doing real estate.
I believe you.
I wish you'd come with me.
Anyway,
We'd get some sun on you, Count Dracula.
I do need some sun.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
I was out in the backyard this afternoon getting a little bit.
Were
But
you?
then it got overcast. I'm like, well, I'm not getting a lot. I'm still getting some UV.
Yeah,
Not-
some, but not a lot.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's shut up and go to our regular Wednesday guest, the one, the only Jeff Poor, host of the Jeff Poor Show, 106.5 FM down there in the Fairhope Mobile area. And, of course, he's editor-in-chief at 1819news.com. Jeff, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being on the show. So socialism seems like it's all the rage, man. I don't know, what's with this comeback of socialism? And I bring this up because I know we've talked about it before, but it's so funny to watch your Van Joneses, your Bill Maher's, and a few other, I would call corporate Democrats say, I can't abide the socialism thing. What I'm thinking is the same dynamic that allowed Trump to wreck the Republican Party. I wonder if the old Democratic organs of power are going to be able to stop the DSA from doing that to the Democratic Party.
Maybe on the margins, maybe at the top, where it really matters, and some are going to get through the cracks. But you have this demographic shift in America. A lot of it's immigration, but just that. And then I think it's this unholy alliance of the eggheads in academia who think you could just come up with a 12-point plan, the Elizabeth Warren crowd, marrying up with these people who are kind of ideologically predisposed to believe that the government is the solution to all your problems. And that's really moving. And plus you have a very, very energized Democratic base that believes all this stuff. And you put all those elements together. And if that's the equation, what do you expect the outcome to be?
Yeah, and there's this one line, I'll play a full clip later, but it's Victor Davis Hanson. And he says, we didn't fight 2 world wars just to be lectured by immigrants about why America is racist and a flawed country. Seriously, we didn't fight Iwo Jima to Gettysburg.
Right.
And Jefferson and everybody else didn't die. So somebody that just showed up, a few decades ago, if not sooner, earlier than that, ends up saying, well, the whole system needs to go. Because, there's stuff, we can go through it, this Democratic Socialist saying, get rid of the Senate. It's this old vestige of elite power.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of the presidency, in fact, and make the Supreme Court essentially a big legislature. We'll just have a general assembly like the French Revolution. It'll all work out just great.
No.
Well, this just even it's deeper than that, and this is the big talk about what's going on at the Smithsonian.
Yeah,
and our institutions are at war with themselves, and the Smithsonian's getting all the press. I took my little boy. We go on a trip every year. Last year, our trip took us through St. Louis, Missouri. Went to the Gateway Arch. And there's a little museum there, a bunch of exhibits and displays. And it was just all about American expansion being this evil thing that happened in our history. That it showcased the evils of capitalism and the drawbacks of capitalism and forcing Native Americans off their land. And there's just this vibe within government that's very anti-institutional. And I think the only way you combat that is, I mean, you got to nip that stuff in the bud. You can't have that in America. You can't have that being showcased and that becoming a mainstream point of view. But it's really, really trying to be.
Yeah, and it's a shame to see like that's going to be tough to nip in the bud, in the sense that you have an entire generation of academics who go into those positions. And there's a lot of people are pointing out this dynamic that most of Chris Hayes made this point, but he didn't make the point he was hoping to make. But he pointed out that most Democrats have 4-year, at least postgraduate college degrees. And most folks that vote Trump have no college education at all. And it's because, yeah, man, a lot of those folks with those expensive degrees are realizing how worthless those degrees are in the economy, where that guy who skipped out on college started his own business or went to trade school and learned a marketable skill is making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's fascinating that the elite sort of educated class, they don't seem to be doing too well. They're in loads of debt and they're kind of expecting a bailout.
Well, it's also like this elite educated class is becoming like way more secular, more worldly. They're not. They're looking for, because this is the human experience, Joey, and you kind of understand this.
Yeah.
Looking for something, a higher power, something greater than yourself. You're looking for that, and there's just this longing for that in the human soul, and I can't explain it. It's biology, nature, whatever. And instead of leaning on God, instead of leaning on your faith or whatever it may be, they're looking to government. They're looking at a world view where man can, like, just if we just do it right, if we just put the right systems in place, we can micromanage humanity and achieve a utopian outcome where everybody's happy. And that is not obtainable. It just isn't, because all these humans that they look at on a piece of paper, like widgets or something, are all unique, and they all have different desires and different lifestyles and different, cultures or environments that they're brought up in. That doesn't work, but that's what they're being taught. That's what you find, especially like, elitist academia. You find that certainly within the Beltway, that the smart people had to come there and be the philosopher kings and really show these people and fly over country what's good for them. And that's where a lot of this comes from, that you've got to take care of the people who can't take care of themselves, and it's up to the government to do that. And that just isn't going to work.
No, because you end up just taking a lot of people's freedoms away in order to fill those goals. And also, you'd be shocked that you might provide people with like basic necessities and they're still not happy. And in fact, you might fill up your soul like you're really prosperous and you got great degrees and you're living some high rise in New York City and you got friends that are important and stuff and you're achieving and you still feel empty. And I don't know if you've had a chance to catch any of the interviews or read the book of the Vice President, J.D. Vance. He talks about this in detail, being, this overachiever at Yale and in the tech world and the startup or the venture capital world, that all these folks are very brilliant people and making a bunch of money, but life seems so hollow beyond that. And so it leads to this sort of, and this maybe explains a lot, groupthink. Instead of it being about what's right in terms of loving God and loving my neighbor, when I start with God, it becomes, what does my neighbor think? And then the neighbor thinks, what does the other neighbor think? And so there's no true north. And you get into these weird cul-de-sacs of thought that end up being, power's the true God, and whoever has the power will just listen to.
Or there's a way to fulfill these quote unquote needs, and the different the different luxuries we have in a modern society, and the technology, the social media, or whatever it is. That there's other things that are starting to fill these voids that's not healthy for your society at all. But that's where I think, like, this, when we start talking about self-governance and the idea of socialism, well, as long as I get my virtual reality fix or my AI chatbot or my, whatever, I'll be fine. Or my, hit off the bong every day, whatever it is, the time at the bar, I don't know. But that there's other things that start to fill those voids. and people become less ambitious, less industrious. They're just you kind of placate a society.
Now, on this turn to God, there's the personal testimonies, which are always the best, but what do you make of it? Just taking your temperature on this, I know we've talked about it before, of the vice president coming out and writing a book that's fully about his conversion to Catholicism, and even Katie Britt that we saw here locally speaking pretty explicitly about God. I saw Josh Hawley the other day giving a big rip-roaring sermon, just quoting the Bible up and down. And I don't know. Do you think the Democrats and some of the Democrats on the left are going to respond in kind? Are you going to see AOC say, well, I'm Catholic too, sort of thing? I just wonder, is Christianity, and I don't want this to happen, just going to become the latest political costume?
I don't think so, because there's just such an adverse reaction in political circles. Look, I mean, this is what happens in socialist countries and communist countries when you put something ahead of the state. If you put the church ahead of the state, there's pushback against that from the state. And I think that these statists, they're just secular in their beliefs. They're instant gratification, or a lot of it, Joey. We could talk about this in a philosophical sense, but a lot of it's just a straight up power grab. It's just the path of least resistance to achieving an election win, achieving campaign financing, whatever it is. So you say these things, and you do this long enough in America. You talk about these things. You talk about the evils of capitalism. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because these old Democrats, the Bill Maher's and the Van Jones was like, he talked about communism, and how it wasn't all bad. Like, these guys have been talking about it for years as sort of just a political wedge. And what did they think was going to happen when you express these ideals, when you expressed about the virtues of your political philosophy, that people aren't going to start kind of buying into it, and it starts to directly impact your party. It's certainly not going to cause a spread of communism in Republican Party meetings. It's going to be at Democratic Party meetings.
Well, and on the practical note, where we started this conversation, I think back to that 2016 cycle where Hillary Clinton was just the gal. And I don't think we're going to get anything like that. And even the 2020 cycle, everybody got out of the way for Biden. I just don't see the Democratic establishment, because they're getting older and they don't have as much cultural sway. They're not going to be able to stop up-and-comers in the 2028 primary, I don't believe.
The only thing they got going for them is different on the Democrat side. They have a system that makes it a little easier.
I forgot about the
super delegates. Yeah. They got some fail-safes in there. But you play the nuclear option, and you do that, and there's going to be riots in the streets. I mean, these people, they're very energized right now, and this is what they did. To get people engaged and to push back against a Trump victory in 2024. I mean, you talked about Nazism or fascism. You labeled the other side with all of these pejoratives, none of which were even remotely true, but they tried to draw into symbolism and all of these comparisons, and people believe it. Where does that energy go? It just doesn't dissipate into thin air. It's going to show up, and right now they're going to have to deal with it. As like Josh Hawley said, they're kind of reaping what they sow right now.
It's going to be fascinating to watch, because it does seem like certain players in the Democratic Party all got the marching orders of tamp down on this wherever you can.
Yep.
And because it's getting too much steam, and because it seems like Trump and the Republicans are making hay of it right now, just talking about the crazies. It could help in the midterms. But yeah, go ahead.
I just wonder what your average, like, Upper East Side, New York City Karen in her townhouse that thinks Nicole Wallace is the smartest person on cable news right now. That they're going to get that message, but most people who are buying into these philosophies and voting that way are not going to hear that stuff.
Now, I want to end it with this: where how old are you, give or take? Again, I forget sometimes.
I am 50.
You're 50. You're a father, and so you're a man of 50. When's the last time you had a smoothie?
Probably a lot more recently than you would think.
Wow. Okay.
Every now
Okay. I just
Every now and then I will go on I will try to lose weight, which ends up being a massive failure. It's probably been 6 months, but I have a Smoothie King app on my phone,
Okay.
and I would hit that place up on like a morning basis on my health kicks.
Well, it's just while we were having our conversation about socialism and God and stuff, Eddie tried to lean out of frame of camera and sip out of his straw what smoothie is that, Eddie?
That's a strawberry.
Strawberry
smoothie with a scoop of protein.
with a scoop of protein. Wait.
But they're almost like milkshakes, you know.
Okay.
You got to get the right ones, or you might as well just go get a milkshake at like
Yeah,
you know,
next step
wherever.
is the milkshake. So this is my less guilty milkshake.
Well, I was going to give him a hard time,
Yeah,
but
thank
you
you, Jeff.
answered honestly, Jeff. So
Thank you, Jeff.
I'm still going to give him a hard time because the way you tried to get out of frame with your face going for the straw was a little.
Well,
something.
you know, they have all kinds of cool additives like the caffeine and the
Yeah.
energy and all of that stuff. Sometimes it's better than dropping $8 on a giant Red Bull, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Well, I appreciate it as always, Jeff. If folks want to check out your work and what you're thinking about, how can they do so?
X.com/Jeff_Poor. You can find me personally. More importantly, 1819 News, 1819news.com.
And are you going to be out of town off on Wednesday next week?
We will be. We're doing our my 5-year-old and I are doing our Upper Midwest baseball stadium tour, so I won't be here for the next 2 Wednesdays, actually. But we got like 10 ballparks in 14 days, major league ballparks, and
That's
Oh wow, that's
you know,
cool.
if it doesn't rain, because I scheduled them all pretty tight, and there's just making the night game, and then the next day turning around and getting like across the state of Wisconsin for a day game. But we're also going to hit Cooperstown, and we're going to try to get to the Louisville Bat Factory, Slicker Bat Factory,
Yeah.
and then we'll, once we hit the upper Midwest, we'll come back home through Atlanta and stop at a Braves game. So that'll be 10 and 14 days.
Man, that's cool.
That's so awesome. That you're going to get to see the real America,
Yeah.
not all this crap we see through the media. That's awesome. So I hope you enjoy your trip. That's great.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Again, folks,
Take care,
Jeff Poor.
Jeff.
Always appreciate his time. Yeah, he bailed you out there. I was about to give you a hard time.
Give it to me, baby. Because let me tell you, this is healthy, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
It's all, calories. I don't know if you're trying to lose weight.
I'm not trying to lose. Look at me. I'm about to blow away
Yeah.
now. Your HR person mocks me every time she sees me on how skinny I am.
Yeah, she should.
Yes, apparently. So I got the scoop of protein. I heard that that's what I should do.
And where'd you get that from? Scooters?
Scooters, where you scoot on around.
Scooters.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that is.
I think there's one in Wetumpka. But there's so many of these places like this now.
Mhm.
They're to the point of like car washes.
Now, I do a big, healthy, AG1 and a bunch of supplements, all in one big green
That's what
drink.
this is?
Eh,
Do you know? I don't know. I mean,
there's not that much sugar in what I'm drinking.
I see you're one of those guys.
Right.
Mhm.
Now, have you had the what is it, the hydration salts? So Element and
No,
Liquid IV and all these
Okay,
others.
the drinks of that, I hadn't had the
Yeah.
concentrate, but I've had the drinks. They taste like crap to me. When I got really sick,
No,
I
I do the
drank one, and
concentrate. Yeah,
they're salty as they can be. And
I like it.
gross.
Well, it does keep you hydrated. It's not like the most flavorful thing.
That's not flavorful.
But yeah, so I do. Like a healthy drink in the morning. That's my AG1 and a bunch of other things that I throw.
I
in
really
there.
need to hydrate, though. I usually go with Coors Light because it's like 99% water.
Are you adding Metamucil at this point?
No, not yet. But I feel like that might be in my future.
Yeah, maybe just once or twice a week.
I don't know, man. For 57, I kind of think I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm a little sore.
Mm.
I'm 8 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school, Joey. Right now.
Ooh.
I know.
It's disturbing and
It
for
is.
some reason. I don't even
I get
know.
it. I get it.
Hmm.
But I got the weight where it counts, baby.
Just sometimes folks are trying to do a serious radio show, though we're hardly ever that serious here. And I look over and it's Eddie literally leaning and trying to catch his that sort of move where it's like
I had a little dry patch.
mhm.
Mhm.
You ever sit at the table with a child and instead of bringing the straw up to them, they just lean over to it?
I have done that before, yes.
Right.
And then I look around and realize everybody's looking at me because,
Anyway,
Mhm.
we have all sorts of stories today. Of course, Trump, as we were speaking, the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members. This happened moments ago. We're seeing it live on Fox News at Dover Air Force Base. Well, that'll make you shut up for a second,
Yep.
right? We're watching casket draped with the American flag being carried off the plane. I saw Trump go in there saying that's the, because he's so tongue in cheek and so combative and says a lot of stuff for effect. But occasionally, if you read between the lines, he'll drop the act. And he was saying, this is the hardest thing I have to do.
Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt. 2 men, 2 women.
Tyler, James Feehan, Isabella Gonzalez. That's the other 2.
Yeah. But at least he's there doing it. We'll give him that. That's got to be one of the hardest things to ever do.
Well as Secretary Hegseth. We have plenty of clips of. He was getting in and combating a lot of senators yesterday.
I saw a picture of him years and years ago, I guess right when he first went in the military. Sharp-looking dude then, too.
Mm-hmm.
Good-looking man.
Now, there's a fake AI photo of him.
Oh, crap.
From high school, like it's his high school yearbook, or he's like, it's like straight emo.
Oh, no.
Like, tonight will be the night that I will bomb for you.
You know there's got to be some out there like that. 'Cause, that was a time.
Yeah, but, because you now have the fact checker and stuff, that's
Yeah.
AI generated. Like,
Yeah, but you kind of want to believe that one.
that one's pretty good.
That's good.
It's kind of like emo JD Vance is emo
Oh,
Rubio. Pretty
I
funny.
love emo JD Vance. I love fat JD Vance.
Yeah.
I love bass playing JD Vance.
Oh, yeah. I love JD Vance singing, "Can You Take Me Higher?" That's a JD Vance
Yeah.
song now. That's not Creed.
That's 100% JD Vance.
That is a JD Vance.
100%.
He needs to include that song if he runs for president.
Well, you think that'll be his walk-up music?
It has to. Like, it's going to have to be. So we can go to some of the political theater and back and forth and fighting in Congress yesterday. Also, like this Victor Davis Hanson clip in particular about these socialists.
Mhm.
And that might be what we end this segment with
Okay.
here in a second. But there's all sorts of other headlines out there. Have you heard of NILF? NILF? Hot NILF summer.
All I can say is no one ILF. You have...
It has nothing to do with effing anything.
My bad.
You dirty dog. Sip your spoons.
Who sent me that music video this morning, which is my new favorite song?
Yeah, that's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you.
The Grinch Who Stole. Yeah.
Yes.
But no, hot NILF summer.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with sex. It's an acronym for something else entirely different. So it does sound a lot like MILF.
Something with nerd. It's nerdy because there's an
it's not a
acronym in
nerd.
there.
The N stands for not.
Not in love with Frank?
We'll have to get to that in a second. Also, you have the New Jersey governor admitting, we have thousands of people who aren't citizens on the voter rolls.
Yeah, so what?
DOJ already calling them
Problem
out, and DHS already jumping on top of them, saying, your problem's probably worse than what you're admitting. A crazy
You know
crime
it.
story where a silent threat, a mime, is accused of terrorizing women after allegedly stripping down and coating himself in cooking oil
Did you
and
see him in
staring at them.
He passed out in court yesterday.
A freaky dude.
I don't think he really passed out, but yeah.
Also, there's some city that elected their youngest ever mayor,
Oh.
and he's been stripped of his duties
Oh, boy.
because of his access to any sort of official
boy.
capacity in buildings and stuff because of his alleged spending habits. We definitely have to get into that.
Yeah.
We also have a real estate case where a real estate agent arrested for a cold case of a murder. A woman stabbed 100 times.
Yep.
Like, it's a pretty crazy story. Also, OpenAI pauses development of a new model due to repeated quote-unquote escapes. OpenAI agent goes rogue. An unprecedented cyber incident hacks into rival AI startup doing security tests.
Nerd on nerd violence.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Yeah. But here, I want to cue this up. This is Victor Davis Hanson.
Okay.
And all this talk of, like, and Obama was essentially saying this. J.D. Vance represents, that you're trying to say a certain type of person is American.
Yeah, an American.
Yeah, like Americans are American.
Right. That's
Right.
very American of you.
And I think there's also a point of like, you immigrated, you did it the right way,
You assimilated.
you assimilated, you became a citizen.
Yeah.
And like but your kid immediately turns around and goes, this country sucks and we got to do all sorts of stuff to change it.
That's when you take that kid back to where you came from. Here, spend a week here. I'll be back in a week.
Yeah, we're like, no, we're good. Like, I want to move to the country and fundamentally transform it.
Right.
Like, what is that? But here's, good old Victor Davis Hanson. Good to see that he survived this really crazy surgery and he's doing better. Let's listen in. This catches him midstream in a conversation about the crazy young socialist. I said.
Are you buffering?
Yeah. I am buffering. I'm on and work, baby. Okay, we'll just start it from the beginning.
Family as abnormal, and the left does, then you have no civilization. If you think you have to be tolerant to people with psychological problems that sleep on the street, but if you think Los Angeles defecating, there was an article about 100 and something pounds of human waste, 180,000 pounds that they removed from MacArthur Park in Los Angeles.
Oh my! Are you kidding?
No, they list. So the homeless, that is medieval.
Yeah.
That is medieval. If you think 10,000 people coming across the border to swarm the social services of poor U.S. citizens is compassionate, without any audit at a time when people were being forced to wear masks, to self isolate, and to get experimental mRNA vaccinations. If you think that's moral, that's anti-civilizational.
Right.
And so this party is a Jacobin, 1960s, Symbolese, Liberation, Weatherman, all that conglomeration of anti-civilizational stuff. And when you see the agenda of the Democratic Socialists, I mean, it's very funny to have these young kids start mouthing off, well, we don't like the name president. We're going to get rid of that. And, the Senate, that's a wealthy person. That's not fair. We're just going to get rid of that. And then we'll expand the House, and that'll be just like a radical Athenian democracy. Whatever they say is the law. And, of course, we'll get rid of the Supreme Court. We'll get rid of the president. And they have all these ideas, and you think, do you think that Hamilton and Jefferson and all these people died for you people? Do you think that we went 250 years and we fought everywhere from Iwo Jima all the way to Belleau Wood to Gettysburg so that you people could just walk in, many of them from first or second generation immigration, lecturing us? Oh, I think your system is no good. And I've decided that when we take power, we're going to get rid of the Constitution, and the founders are all racist, and and we're just going to say, okay, we got your. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
This is a party that's.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
He's right. It ain't going to happen. It's going to happen in certain pockets of the country.
I'm sure it will. Well, it has happened in certain pockets.
Yeah. As he was describing there in Los Angeles. But I think that area, that part of the country, Jeff Poor's about to tour.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you actually get out into America proper, and what you find is it is very strong.
Oh, yeah.
And, it is fascinating. There are a lot of folks that are elite, then they're elite, if that makes any sense. There are your elites, and then there are your elites. And so a lot of people think, well, the elite are just people who are rich. It's like,
not really.
There's a lot of folks who have made a lot of money who do not get invited to the elite parties.
Yeah,
and
not part of that club.
And I think one thing that's happened, though, and this is serious, this is Alabama in my experience, at least. There are a lot of folks, maybe they went to a low college or no college at all, but they worked their tail off. They're maybe in their 40s or their 50s now, and they're multimillionaires. Or maybe they're not multimillionaires, but the business is worth that.
Yeah.
And they, are able to make $100,000 and employ a bunch of people, and they got a bunch of big trucks and cars and big families, and the kids are going off to college, and it's like, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's life. And these are the folks that the elites with these degrees, as they sit under tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands of dollars of college debt to get those degrees, are pissed, saying, you folks are the problem. We're like, we're the problem? Really? And of course, the rub for the future will not be winning over urban areas, because unless there's a change of philosophy from within,
That's not going to happen.
it's too far gone. And you ain't changing rural Alabama, or
Right.
good luck with rural Texas even. With all the people moving there.
But be careful how we think about that, because
No, but I think the action is in the suburbs where you
Yeah,
see these
definitely.
two rub up, and that is going to be the fascinating dynamic of what type of person do you get in suburbia, America, and how do they identify? Do they identify more with the self-made,
no.
or do they identify more with the business professional class?
I don't know. Your generation, to me, it seems to be more, and ours was just as bad with the instant gratification. But it doesn't seem like, and I'm not trying to not knock y'all's generation. Y'all took college that was going to get you to the next step. That was like,
No, I just went because I was told.
yeah, well, right. You were told.
Yeah.
A lot of
There's
people
another hoop to
with
jump.
no real plan. It was just,
Yeah.
you'll figure it out along the way.
Right.
Where
And
others,
I decided to get high and drunk, like I said yesterday.
yeah, myself included, we did some of the college thing, but we realized that wasn't enough, fast enough for me. I had to go hustle. If I wanted to make money and I had a family, I had to hustle.
Right.
And doing whatever it took, and I continued that my entire life. It's worked out for the most part.
It's worked out for me. I don't know how much I've hustled.
Some people are pretty, Joey. Some people work hard.
You calling me pretty?
No,
Sip
I'm
that smoothie. On that note, we'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
You can't control interest rates. You can't control housing inventory. And you definitely can't control what the national news decides to panic about this week. But here's what you can control. You control your timing. You decide when it's the right time to buy, when it makes sense to refinance, and when to tap into your equity to renovate, invest, or consolidate debt and free up monthly cash flow. Real estate decisions aren't one size fits all, and they shouldn't be driven by headlines or social media noise. They should be based on your goals, your finances, and your life. The smartest moves happen when you focus on what you can control and work with someone who helps you see the full picture. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street began the day in the red as oil prices continue to rise. Brent crude is up $3.81 to $94.82 per barrel. Benchmark U.S. crude added $3.31 to $87.65. OpenAI says its artificial intelligence system went rogue, hacking into another AI company on its own. AI startup Hugging Face detected an intrusion into its data processing systems. Hugging Face's co-founder confirms the attack was from an AI agent, adding that it's mind-blowing that it happened autonomously. Super microcomputers soared 17.5% after the server and storage maker issued an earnings preview, revealing that gross margins will come in well ahead of guidance. AT&T rose 3.6% before the opening bell after topping Wall Street's expectations. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber, now open from 6 to 5. It's more than just great prices on lumber. From Trex decking to energy-efficient windows and Tamco shingles, Alabama Wholesale Lumber has it all.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Once again, today, heat will be the big story. Dangerous heat indices near or above the 105 danger range, with the actual high temperature in the middle 90s today. Will be in the mid 70s tonight, and there will be scattered, random afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, which will tend to fade out at night. But then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think we'll see limited sunshine, and the scattered showers and storms will become rather numerous. As a front stalls out in the state, more towns will get wet, fewer towns will stay dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Vader here in the studio with me. Coming up a little after 2 o'clock, we'll have a candidate to be your next congressman. At least he's running for the Republican nomination. David Matthews.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yep.
Now, we watched that video together,
Yes, we did.
and I just want to act like we didn't see that.
That's kind of.
I don't think that was the best first impression.
I agree with you 100% on that.
And then we also got the other video from the Coffee County. Why don't you just sit back and hush?
Yeah.
Which part of me made me go, wait. Because I have an instinct.
You've been there before.
Well, no, but I also have an instinct of like, well, who are you, woman?
No, you've been there before with some woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
Might have told you, Joey, you just need, or young man, you
Yeah.
just need to hush your mouth.
Well, why don't you learn a little thing? You're too old to be that dumb. Which doesn't get you elected.
That they really don't.
Right. But, I'm not trying to be
Keeps
elected.
your name out there, though.
Right. But no, I really want to see, like, where is he coming from in terms of his experience in the political world, what he hopes to do in Congress, maybe what he knows, because he's hinted at in that video, what he knows about campaigning in Congress that he wishes everybody else knew. And compare himself to other candidates and the standard interviews we do. Like, what do you feel about this policy, that policy, your background, all this stuff. So David Matthews.
KFC or Popeyes?
Oh.
Or Chick-fil-A.
Haven't done either of those in a while, KFC or Popeyes. I'm usually Chick-fil-A.
Did some Popeyes the other day. Got the spicy.
It's good.
It's always good. But
I have good memories of
you're
it.
going to remember it again, too, later on.
Yeah, I'd never, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how spicy food works?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, like, I just go with Chick-fil-A, baby.
Chick-fil-A's okay. You do
Chick-fil-A's
their macaroni and cheese?
I
know it's kind of out of
when
your-
I'm not trying to be
yeah.
healthy.
It's not bad.
I mean, when I'm trying to be healthy, it's just grilled nuggets all day, every day.
It's just like,
yeah, but it's better than most places grilled chicken.
it's
And
just the lack of flavor. I mean, it's
no,
not
and I get
bad.
the honey mustard. That's not that bad, and then you can eat a bunch of them.
Yeah.
But no, I usually go with the spicy chicken sandwich.
Yes.
With a pepper jack cheese on it.
Yep. Get the double spice. That's good.
Mhm.
That's good.
Yeah. And
Remember
then
when you used to eat those hottest of hot wings, like at Baumhauer's?
I did that once.
What was the flavor? You remember? It's like, was it 911 or something? It was
something like that, yeah.
And I was like, man, this kid is nuts.
Yeah, but I know
it was a different time, a different Joey, but
right.
You impressed me that day.
Look at that boy. He ain't all right, but
man,
he's all right
He's
tonight.
all right.
Anyway, we were talking about socialism and
Yes.
And one of my new favorite commentators to go to
Oh?
on the internets is Bishop Robert Barron.
Okay.
So let's listen into his take on this whole, because he said he finally watched a video of Hassan Piker. You know who that guy is?
I do not.
He's some like lefty streamer, and I guess all these streamers that are getting older, like because you're famous on the internet, it's going to translate into political success. Because, I mean, obviously you have millions of views and millions of followers. It means political power.
No.
No?
No.
Anyway, but that's the way a lot of this seems to be going. A lot of people are thinking in that way. Like,
Okay.
if I have a big online following, I can do anything.
No.
I can change the world. But here's Bishop Barron, his take on the whole democratic socialism thing.
Hey everybody, it's Bishop Barron. You know, just recently someone sent me a clip of a speech given by Hassan Piker. I'd heard that name. I'd never, though, actually read him or seen him. And it was an address he was giving to a very small group of democratic socialists. I think it was in New York. You know, the first thing that struck me as this young man was speaking was that he was wearing a Mao jacket. Now, maybe some of my younger viewers won't know what I'm referring to, but the jacket, kind of a clunky jacket made popular by Mao Zedong, who was the mid-20th century communist dictator of China. Then it was imitated by hundreds of millions of Chinese at the time. Well, as I continued watching his speech, and I was hearing, to my mind, kind of warmed over, barely undergraduate level Marxism, I realized, no, he's advocating for communism. And then subsequently, someone sent me a clip, which I still find breathtaking, where the same man, Hassan Piker, referring to Mao Zedong as one of the greatest leaders in human history. Mao Zedong, everybody, by conservative estimates, is responsible for the deaths of between 40 and 80 million people. I think it's fair to say he's the greatest mass murderer in human history. Now, many millions of those deaths were by direct political execution, many tens of millions more through famine produced on purpose because of the disastrous communist economic policies of China. Believe these people, everybody, these young socialist communists, they're advocating for a system that Mao Zedong represented, a system that is hostile to religion. Remember, Karl Marx said the first critique is the critique of religion. Look in communist states all over the world in the 20th century, the attack on the church. A system that therefore denies the rights of individuals. Take God out of the equation, human rights go out the window too. A system that believes power, political, economic, cultural, should be concentrated in the hands of a tiny, unelected elite. A system that does not believe in freedom of the press or freedom of speech or freedom of assembly or the free market. That's what these people are advocating for. That's what someone like Mao Zedong stood for. You know, in the wake of watching that address, I came across this interview of this young man, another young man. I think he's the second in command of the Democratic Socialists in New York, in dialogue with Martha McCallum. And she pointed out that his parents had fled from Peru during the time when Peru was under the threat of the Shining Path. That was a group of Maoist, Marxist, guerrilla revolutionaries. And she asked him, how come they fled to America? His answer was, to get away from American imperialism. She said, kind of under her breath, that just doesn't make any sense. I should say so. Here's the bottom line. How many people are fleeing from our country to get to communist countries? Ask yourself that question. How many boats are leaving Florida to get to Cuba? But for decades, everybody, droves and droves of people in desperation fleeing communist countries to get to our country. And thereupon hangs a tale. So as you listen to this young man, very popular, speaking to democratic socialists who are making advances in our political system, take them seriously. They mean what they say. And then I'd say, especially to my co-religionists, my co-believers, it's time to speak up and to speak out.
Amen. 272-9228, 334-272-9228. And whether it's him, literally Bishop Robert Barron, or other folks like him, I hope more and more folks like that start gaining more and more traction.
Yeah.
To where instead of it being like, excuse me, pardon me, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, even Tucker to a certain degree, or Hassan Piker, or Kyle Kozinski, or like all these different even Dave Smith, the libertarian variety, like all these big like pundits who have a quick hot takes, or even like somebody who's a little more, he's on the right and he's not exactly mainstream, but like even a Matt Walsh, like there's a certain point where, great, you're insightful, or you have a certain talent and gift of provoking and expressing ideas in the middle of that provocation. But it would be nice to see literally men of faith who are leaders in the church stand up and say, sit down, you're a child. Here's the history, and here is the deeper aspect of what you continue to ignore. And my hope is that that's not going to work in the next day or two.
Right.
But it will work
over time.
Certainly. Especially if with confidence, as he just said, his co-religionists or co-believers, those who believe Jesus Christ is Lord, actually speak up. And not just saying that, but speak up, as we were talking yesterday with Hollyhand, about in wherever you find yourself, you carry that message.
Right.
And I think what you might find, if you really believe that, is that it will inoculate you from any sort of nasty political ideology. Doesn't mean there won't be corruption in politics or people saying mean things and all the stuff that comes with it. But it won't allow the worst of the worst to rise as long as you, put Christ. And if the worst do rise and you still have Christ as Lord in your life, then you understand that some of the greatest servants of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ are those who died for him.
Yep.
Who shared in his suffering. There's one saint I've had on my mind of recent, Maximilian Kolbe, who, long story, very detailed story, wouldn't do it justice off the top of my head, but essentially he took a man's place in a concentration camp to die. And it's faith. Why would somebody make a decision like that? Why would somebody, like your basic self-preservation, you keep your head down, right?
Yep. Especially in that situation.
When you look at the folks that are willing, especially when it's somebody you don't even know, it's not a family member, it's not a friend, it's just some
Random.
other person. And you realize, no, we're all children of God. We are family. And I'm not going to let evil think it's won because it can kill a person for a time. Because, death has been defeated in the fullness of time. Anyway, I hope it never gets to that point in this country. But who knows? As, we are good to remind ourselves that it was a quarter of an inch, if that Trump almost had his head blown off.
Yep.
Charlie Kirk is, in fact, dead. So it could happen anywhere. But again, I hope and pray it doesn't ever come to that, and that the average American, as lost as we all are in this culture of ours and in the decadence of our culture, I think the average American is longing for something deeper. And the beautiful thing is we have a tradition we can lean back on. We definitely have a tradition we can lean back on. 272-9228. Before I hit this quick break, we also have Marco Rubio commenting on this whole communist thing.
Oh?
And I think, it's interesting to see, especially now several generations in, Cuban Americans as some of the best conservatives out there. And in some of the best spokespeople against any sort of communist or socialist influence. Let's listen in. This is the Secretary of State.
Well, again, what the president put out on Thursday, that was a declassification of documents from our intelligence community. That's what he put out. He declassified intelligence assessments from our intelligence community. But your question was about communist influence. Yeah, the United States doesn't want to be a communist country. We're never going to be a communist country, and we're not going to allow communist influences to undermine our politics or our society. So I don't know what the inconsistency you're referring to is. It's very clear. Obviously we understand the Chinese system and other systems, but I can tell you our system doesn't want communism, and we're certainly not going to allow communist efforts to undermine American society and drive wedges into our country, and that's what we're seeing. And by the way, one of the leading culprits of that for many years, the intellectual authors have particularly in our hemisphere, is the Cuban regime, which our report on Monday outlined. Well, again, what the president put out.
And so with Rubio, what you have is a fella who's trying to end the communism that has haunted his folks, his particular people, for a long, long, long time. In fact, we have Rubio talking about that exactly, about the Cuban regime. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's go to the phone. A man who I know doesn't like communism. In fact, I think, really likes capitalism. Let's go to Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors. Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Joey, we're doing good. We definitely like capitalism. I'm picking up sweet peas and a Reuben from Chappie's Deli right now as we speak.
Oh, right. That sounds good right now, actually.
But how are you and Eddie?
Oh, we're doing good. We most of the first hour is talking about this crazy resurgence of socialism, even if it's put under the Democratic label.
Do not understand that.
And it's good to see that from many fronts. Like I played just Bishop Robert Barron to Secretary of State Rubio to Victor Davis Hanson. There are a lot of great voices out there just ready to go about, you know what, we're not putting up with this nonsense.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand and agree with the sentiment. I think that if you look back through history, those structures of government and orders of operation have been unsuccessful. And I think that, a free economy is the best way to unleash the full potential of its citizens. And so, I totally echo that. And I think that that's the way that we try to operate at our firm.
Here, here. And, well, tell folks about Invista Advisors.
Yeah, so we're a registered investment advisory based right here in Montgomery, Alabama, but we serve all the Southeast. We're more of a regional firm at this stage, and we can handle anything in the realm of finance that your listeners may need, whether it be planning for retirement or if you manage an association and sit on a board and you need a custodian of your assets to take care of that, or maybe put a parent in assisted living and help facilitating that, or putting a kid through college, whatever it may be, any financial need that you have, we have someone on our team that is not only capable, but has most likely dealt with that situation several times before. So give us a call.
And that number's still 387-0094?
That's us.
Again, folks, 387-0094. Be sure to tell them when you call them up that you heard Austin Baranko here on the radio with Joey and Eddie. And before I let you go, you're going to be stopping by in studio, 2 o'clock on Friday?
Yep, that's the plan. Hoping to be in studio with you guys Friday.
Excellent.
And really looking forward to catching up. It's been too long since we've been face-to-face.
Amen. Well, I saw him at church the other day, but, I mean, he had the kid and stuff like it was. He's got skills.
I understand. But there's
We got a
nothing
lot
cuter than
going
a
on,
grown
but-
man walking with kids.
But I love you guys.
Feelings mutual, man. Love you too.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
We'll see you, Austin.
Austin Baranko with Invista Advisors, folks. Always appreciate his time. And yeah, look forward to talking to him.
Is he a
more at
pastel
length.
guy? I could see him in a pastel shirt. The church.
No,
some khaki
I
pants.
wouldn't say pastel. I'd say more golf shirt.
Golf?
So, like, you could say it's pastel, but it's more like that light blue that you
Yes,
see somebody
that's what I
wearing
think
on the
of.
golf course,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that with him.
It's not like fine linen.
No, very classy look, though.
Right. Very classy.
I can see that.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. 2 high-profile Trump nominees are one step closer to confirmation today at the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, voting to advance the nominations of Carrie Lake and Doug Mastriano for diplomatic positions. War Secretary Pete Hegseth estimates the Iran wars cost $37.5 billion already. He's defending a Pentagon funding request for another $95 billion. That was part of a combative Senate Appropriations Committee hearing yesterday, often interrupted by protesters. Tropical storm Bertha crept along the Gulf Coast toward the edge of Louisiana yesterday, spinning off strong winds far from its center and closing beaches all the way from Florida to Mississippi. The storm was expected to lose some strength through the rest of the week. Forecasters are warning it could still produce damaging winds and a coastal storm surge. It could send flooding waters inland. This is SRN News.
Are you tired of feeling lousy? Maybe you had a scare at your last checkup or just walking hurts? When enough is enough, call PhD Weight Loss. When I had enough 4 years and 53 pounds ago, I knew I couldn't do it alone. I'm Mike Gallagher for PhD Weight Loss. Best phone call I ever made. They were right with me. They still are today. Right now, mention Mike. You'll get 2 free weeks added to the program, and they'll pay for the cost of your food. $1,500 value. Call 864-644-1900, 864-644-1900, or visit myphdweightloss.com.
So Karen and Michael Collins were in their 20s. They were newly married, and Michael found out he had cancer, stage 4. They're members of Medi-Share, and Medi-Share came through for them, not just financially.
But they called and they said, hey, we know you're going through treatment. We just wanted to call and pray for you. And it rocked my world.
Medi-Share was a blessing to us because they just made it so easy.
Call now, and you'll see why so many Christians have made the switch to Medi-Share. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Win a BMW X7 or your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's BMW and $25,000 free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Once again, today, heat will be the big story. Dangerous heat indices near or above the 105 danger range, with the actual high temperature in the middle 90s today. Will be in the mid 70s tonight, and there will be scattered, random afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, which will tend to fade out at night. But then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think we'll see limited sunshine, and the scattered showers and storms will become rather numerous. As a front stalls out in the state, more towns will get wet, fewer towns will stay dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. A man has died after being hit by a train Tuesday morning in Montgomery. MPD responded to Potomac Avenue on reports of a collision involving a train and a pedestrian near Carver High School. The unidentified man was pronounced dead at the scene. No additional details were made available. This is Montgomery's 17th traffic-related death so far this year. The trial of a man accused of killing a street preacher in Montgomery 4 years ago was postponed on Tuesday. Jeremiah Walker is accused of shooting Thomas Hand Jr. in front of his pregnant wife and 2-year-old child while he was preaching in a North Montgomery neighborhood. The judge postponed the trial because the jury's racial makeup ended up being all black. The district attorney's office confirmed the case had been continued to a later yet undetermined date. 18 people have qualified for the special election to fill the vacant District 3 Montgomery City Council seat. The council had voted to remove Marsha Johnson earlier for allegedly failing to reside in the district she represented. The special city election to fill the seat vacated by Johnson will be held on Tuesday, September 1st. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck. Because at Prattville Carpet, you can revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available with perfect and professional installation and Prattville's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Start shopping for your floors right now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What are you getting? Still deciding, but I do know on August 11th, I'm choosing Rhett Marcus for Congress. Why Rhett Marcus? Because he's a true conservative, endorsed by President Trump and Senator Katie Britt. Oh, then you can trust him. And he's a small business owner, not a politician. Sounds like this choice on August 11th is the easiest decision we'll ever make.
Remember to vote on August 11th. I'm Rhett Marcus, the Trump-endorsed candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rhett for Alabama.
Do you suffer every time you try to wear good-looking shoes, but you don't want to wear ugly shoes just because they're comfortable? The Good Feet store wants to help you wear heels, boots, and dress shoes again in comfort.
We're located at 7341 East Chase Parkway in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So let's go to something different.
All right.
Now, I often say Montgomery needs a new mayor.
Yeah.
But this is a
Oh,
real
yes,
doozy.
the young mayor, right?
Yeah, Georgia City's youngest ever mayor was temporarily stripped of his duties and privileges amid an investigation over his alleged spending. Less than a year after being elected on a campaign premised around accountability and transparency.
Dude, when they do that.
Jaden Williams, the 22-year-old mayor of Stockbridge, Georgia.
Okay.
Only 22. Was ordered to hand over his city-issued credit card by Monday at noon due to his spending, but failed to meet the deadline. Stockbridge City Council officials launched a probe into Williams after quote-unquote information was presented. Why is that quote-unquote information?
Somebody ratted him out.
After information was presented to finance officials and the city attorney without divulging further. Lawmakers backed the resolution on a 5-0 basis last Friday to strip the Politico of some of his privileges, including suspending his city-issued credit card and blocking use of city-owned cars.
Ooh.
Williams has not been charged with any crime, but officials say the measures are designed solely to preserve the integrity of city operations during the investigative process. The elected official, who became Georgia's youngest African-American mayor earlier this year, has confirmed he has taken legal action to ensure city bosses follow a fair, open, and transparent process. Mayor Williams welcomes a full and independent investigation and looks forward to the opportunity to address any allegations through the proper process. A statement shared on his Facebook page said, Williams reportedly didn't turn up to Stockbridge City Hall to hand over the property, but Elton Alexander, the city's mayor pro tem, said the cards could be deactivated remotely.
Very well could be.
We could deactivate, pretty much handle all that electronically, so all of those items have been secured. I can say that. Whether or not they've all been returned, I don't know, he said. Alexander said the investigation into the mayor's alleged spending should take between 30 and 45 days.
Good Lord.
I mean, okay, I want more details. How much did he spend?
Me
Allegedly.
too. I want some details. And why are
And on what?
The vehicles. Why are they involved?
But apparently during this time, Williams can still preside over council meeting and carry out his constitutional duties.
Sure.
He's a political science graduate from Clark Atlanta University. He announced his mayoral bid in 2025, running on a vision centered on unity, accountability, and community-driven progress. He defeated Anthony Ford, a two-time incumbent, by a margin of 420 votes. All right.
420.
Beating a two-time incumbent is huge, and it just shows that Stockbridge is ready for some change. It just reminds me of Rockridge, Blazing Saddles.
Ready for some changes, Joey.
The sheriff is near. Williams' election marked a pivotal moment for the city, ushering in a new era of leadership focused on collaboration, transparency, and inclusive growth. Williams said he doesn't want Stockbridge, a city of about 36,000 people, to become a mini Atlanta or a mini New York City, but he wants to transform it into an area that's urban, hip, and up with the times. And you do that by maxing out the city credit cards, bro?
On what? What do you spend it on?
Yeah, I want to know.
Strippers.
Well, you got to assume that. stripper.
Young man.
I mean, it'd be easy to max out, just like, and it was only one trip.
I've been 22 with a credit card before.
I'm glad I kind of waited to get a credit card.
Man, probably a good idea.
I paid cash for a long time.
I bet they appreciated that.
Yeah. As much as the next guys. Anyway, off that depressing note, we have another odd story.
All right, what you got?
This is from Massachusetts. So we go from Georgia, Stockbridge, to Massachusetts. A Massachusetts man known for roaming in a black and white mime costume is accused of frightening women for months at a popular state park, where prosecutors say he allegedly stripped to his underwear, slathered himself in cooking oil, and worked out near female employees before later collapsing in court as the allegations were read aloud. Wait, is that all he did, though?
Nah, I think it went a little deeper.
I'm about to say, like,
I think the things.
and is that the charge? Frightening women for months? He's charged with frightening women for months.
This is one of the cases. Somebody just needs to go whoop his ass, and all this will go away. Just saying, that's how we handle it down here.
Hernan Villagran Lux, 29, of Framingham, is facing criminal harassment charges. Okay, that's what they actually are. Like I was about to
He
say,
just needs his butt whooped, man. He's just been bothering. annoyingly
facing
bothering
criminal
these women.
harassment charges after 3 female State Department of Conservation and Recreation employees had up to over 50 encounters over the last 2 months at a state park near Boston. Prosecutors said all 3 women knew Lux by name and appearance, and one reported more than 50 encounters that authorities said escalated over time, eventually leaving employees afraid to work around him. The allegations have also sparked warnings on social media where people across several Massachusetts communities said they recognized the suspect and claimed he had approached or followed women on a nearby rail trail.
That's where they'd have found his body.
Authorities arrested Lux Sunday night after multiple women and park workers alleged he repeatedly approached them, stared at them, or refused to leave despite repeated requests. The women report an extensive number of contacts with the defendant involving him staring at them, smiling in what they described as a really unnerving and frankly terrifying manner. This is according to Andrew Mange, the district court. Mange?
Let's go with Mange. Who wants to be known as the Mange?
Bet you got some buddies from your past that were called the Mange.
Yeah, but that was my choice.
Mange said the encounters became increasingly bold. In one incident, okay, we're getting to the details.
Okay.
In one incident, prosecutors alleged Lux stripped down to his underwear, slathered cooking oil all over his body, and began working out right by their staff area. What was he? What do you think he was doing? Push-ups or
Squats.
Body squat?
I
Body
think
weight
you're doing
squat?
squats.
Yeah.
Or sit-ups. Yeah.
And let's hope it was like just more quad-based squat. He wasn't going for like the sumo squat, where you're going like you spread the legs out a little more.
That's what I'm thinking. Plus with a little extra thrust at the end. Yeah.
The women are also reported that Lux repeatedly refused to leave the park after being asked to do so. Prosecutors also alleged Lux complimented one employee's appearance, commented on her lips, and refused to leave as she and coworkers abandoned their work area because they felt unsafe. Boston 25 reported that numerous people posted on social media saying they had spotted a man matching Lux's distinctive mime-like appearance throughout Framingham, Natick, and Wayland. Several women also claimed a man fitting the same description approached and followed them on another different trail.
It's simple.
Oh, it doesn't sound like he's done anything that we know of, at least.
Since you stop him now, you know, chances are he has, but let's go ahead and stop him now with just a good old-fashioned whooping.
Yeah, but how did, like, mimes become a thing?
They're so annoying.
To where, like, okay, it looks like a mime, but he's clearly taking it way too far. But even a mime, like, on the street, is kind of weird.
They're annoying. Go put themselves in that box.
Now,
Go
I've
away.
never really interacted with, like, a proper mime.
Yeah. In Atlanta, downtown? You hadn't?
No, I stay away from them. Creepy, man.
Yeah, well, they are. I'll give you that.
What about the statue people? Ever mess with them?
The one in Vegas, I did a little bit, but it was really cool what he was doing. But I've seen other people go up and mess with him, and then the statue beat the crap out of him.
Right. So I guess you can mime like in the big city square,
Yeah.
or like the big busy street.
It's $5 to go away.
But if you go to the state park and you lather yourself in cooking oil and start, doing push-ups, they're gonna make
Yeah, I think
comments
so,
as you
because that's
leer.
that's
He
more of a
stared. He
family
was
area.
leering.
Yeah. Plus, can we not just say that's weird behavior?
That is weird behavior.
Okay.
That's very weird behavior.
Shouldn't have to justify getting the cops called on some weirdo.
No, especially when you do it over and over.
This is why women should carry mace. Because I guarantee you, you wouldn't get in that much trouble, and he would never bother you again.
Now we have another just oddball story.
Okay.
This has to do with the world of real estate.
Oh boy.
Did you say you have some interesting characters in the real estate world?
Every single day, Joey.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Okay. Well, this is in Texas. You ever done real estate in Texas?
I think I've thrown some referrals that way, but that's about it.
Well, the woman that we're focusing on, the real estate agent.
Okay.
Mayra Velasquez.
Okay.
Mayra Velasquez.
Okay.
She's a Texas real estate agent. She's 42, and she now faces charges of capital murder.
Oof.
In the connection of the killing of a woman, Iracema Chavez. This apparently happened in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, so 14-year cold case. But, Velasquez busted more than a decade after Chavez, who was only 32 at the time, was found dead inside her second-floor Arlington apartment with around 100 stab wounds.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy.
It's just a little bit of emotional rage there, buddy.
And this is the Mayra Velasquez, the lady in question.
Yeah, not
with her
surprised.
mugshot there, folks.
She got the cuckoo eyes.
Yeah. During the initial murder investigation, Arlington police found no obvious signs of forced entry, suggesting Chavez may have known her killer or willingly let them in. At the time, the only key piece of evidence pointing towards the suspect was surveillance footage from the night before the killing of an unknown individual seen entering the apartment. Footage obtained by one of the local TV stations appeared to show a person in baggy clothing and a hoodie climbing the stairs to Chavez's unit, knocking on the door and exchanging words with someone before being allowed inside. Despite multiple leads, including the surveillance footage and blood found at the scene that didn't belong to Chavez, DNA evidence failed to match anyone in the databases at the time. Witnesses provided only limited information, and the case eventually went cold. Investigators sent a blood sample to Parabon Nanolabs in 2016, where scientists used DNA markers linked to ancestry, eye color, hair color, and skin tone to generate a predicted composite of what the suspect might look like.
Jeez.
Still, the killer remained unidentified. In 2024, the Arlington Police Department partnered with the FBI Dallas Field Office, using the agency's investigative genetic genealogy, an advanced investigative program that combines crime scene DNA analysis with public genealogy databases and family tree research, to re-examine the murder, according to the outlet. After 2 years, the IGG program produced a significant lead that detectives used to develop additional evidence. Investigators didn't reveal what the new evidence was or whether it was a direct DNA match with Velasquez.
Bet it was.
But said it was enough to secure an arrest warrant.
Bet it was.
And it's unclear if Velasquez and the woman she allegedly killed knew each other. Velasquez's social media accounts show the real estate agent traveling with family and friends in the years following the alleged murder, with photos depicting her on trips to Peru, Mexico, Paris, London, Disney World, and New York City.
Murderers love to travel, Joey.
No, and then, like, you see this person and she's like helping you sell a house. And you're like, well, look, it's Mayra. Like, she's so happy and she won an award and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she murdered a woman.
Maybe she was doing it all for her client.
It was revealed that she has an active real estate license and has worked for Pure Realtors LLC. I'm sure they love being in this story.
Gotta say, man, why you bring that? That's just so wrong.
And Velasquez's LinkedIn profile shows she's currently working as an affiliate manager for JC Limo. What's up, JC? She is currently being held on no bond, and her next court date has not been announced.
She's working in the kitchen down at the jail, Joey. That's the only job she's toting right now.
Yeah, no, she's taking all these glamour shots of, traveling around the world, like next to one of those telephone booths, like a Doctor Who booth, and smiling and all gussied up, big award shows for realtors, those fake awards that they give out. In
Here's
real
the
estate
thing,
business.
though. Like, she killed one person that we know of. A lot of people have killed more than one person. Once you kill one time,
do you get a taste for it or something?
It's easier.
And we have another one.
Okay.
This was just sent to me by Chris. Model Scout. This is just a simple summary.
Okay.
Model Scout. He scouted models. He's not a model of a
Weirdo?
scout.
Okay.
He went and scouted models for Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, he's weirdo.
He was found dead at his home near Paris. Daniel Syed faced allegations of rape and trafficking in France. It appeared in more than 1,000 documents in the Epstein file. So somebody wanted to shut him up real quick.
Yep.
My God. Yeah. Like, you're already creepy enough being a model scout. But then you were the model scout for Jeffrey Epstein? Oh, man. Yeah, you should probably be in prison for a long... Oh, wait, he's dead. It's interesting how all the folks around that particular show, they just end up dead.
Except for the Clintons. They're still here.
Well, Bill was president. Hillary wasn't. But
Yeah.
Bill was president.
I don't know. I kind of think Hillary ran it. You should just let Bill
You
go.
think
do
she
it.
ran the whole show there?
I think she ran a good part of it. Told Bill, you can go do whatever you want to do. I'll take care of business.
Anyway, I just wanted to do an odd potpourri of stories there for you folks. Because, when I come back here locally to Montgomery,
oh, no.
I'm like, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Like the Alabama Supreme Court expedites the lawsuit challenging Tuberville's residency. Do you think Coach is in trouble?
No.
No.
Oh,
no.
Every time I see it, this is the only thing you got. And it keeps getting kicked down the road and kicked out of court. What do you really got? Nothing.
Yeah, the Supreme Court agreed on Tuesday to expedite that lawsuit against U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville. Barry Ragsdale appealed the dismissal of a lawsuit to the Alabama Supreme Court last week that challenges the residency of Tuberville. Ragsdale requested the Alabama Supreme Court expedite or rule on the case faster. So under the expedited schedule announced by the court on Tuesday, all briefing on the case would be completed in August.
Okay.
So a couple weeks. Of course, the lawsuit was initially dismissed by Montgomery County Circuit Judge Brooke Reed, who is a Democrat. Yeah, it's like, that's bad when you even got your Democrats. They're like, hey, look, I'm looking at the law here, and you don't have enough to...
Right.
Like, good luck.
Why you got to put me out like that? Yeah.
Good luck with that. But speaking of the Democrats,
Mm-hmm.
do you know who Tabitha Eisner is?
Ooh, the Eisner sounds familiar, but I think something else unrelated.
She's the vice chair for the Alabama Democratic Party.
No, not.
And she ran for Congress or something, or ran for some office unsuccessfully.
Okay.
But she's now the vice chair. And she was like calling out like Joe Reed or something the other day that she wrote him like a $5,000 check. And then that check didn't show up like on financial reports and stuff. But
Interesting.
after he asked actually for $15,000, but she can't go over, the $5,000 limit. So she did the $5,000, but that was never even reported. And I'm like, you're calling out your own, like, head honcho of the party?
That's rare. Any party.
Anyway, Alabama Democrat Party Vice Chair Tabitha Eisner is urging Democrat voters to head to the polls for the August 11th Republican special primary to try to block former U.S. Representative Jerry Carl, State Rep Rhett Marquez, who will join us on Thursday, tomorrow, and Amy Aiken from winning their primary races. Eisner recently called for Democrats to pick a Republican ballot in the upcoming special primary.
thought we were getting away from that.
Alabama has an extra primary election in 2026 in some congressional districts due to Alabama recently reverting back to a likely 6-1 Republican map instead of the previous 5-2 map used in the 24 cycle. Iser said in a Facebook post on Tuesday, quote, "The numbers are in and we can see who the frontrunners are in the Republican primary on August 11th. These are the folks we want to knock off the Republican ticket."
Interesting.
Of course, Trump has endorsed Jerry Carl and Rhett Marquez in these respective primary races. And the special election is expected to have low voter turnout because primaries usually occur in May, and the week of August 11th is the first week of school for many districts.
But
the winning candidate only needs a plurality of the votes rather than a majority.
Oh, boy.
There are 4 Republican candidates in the August 11th special primary for Congressional District 1, 6 in Congressional District 2. We've had Hampton Harris on. We will have, in like 30 minutes, David Matthews on. And we will have Rhett Marquez on tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I have not heard from any of the other candidates in the race. Be happy. I know we interviewed Chris Horn a while back, right?
Well, it's been a while, but yeah.
No, I know him from that interview. And anybody else, just get in touch with us. We're not hard to find.
Not really.
If you want to be on the show. And there are 2 candidates in District 6 and 7. The only Democrat primary with multiple candidates is District 6. Democrats still have hopes of reelecting Representative Shamari Figures for Congressional District 2 in November. Democrats who voted in their party's May primary were barred from voting in the Republican runoff elections in June under state law prohibiting crossover voting. However, Democrats who voted in the May primary will be legally eligible to vote in the August Republican special primary since it is a separate election. Closed primary legislation that would have required party registration to participate in the state's partisan primary elections passed the House in the 2026 legislative session, but died in the Senate. It would have gone into effect on January 1st, 2027 if it had been passed into law. Alabama currently still has an open primary system. So that's a little bit of the Alabama politic. And I don't know what, you're going to knock off the front runner and give us something even like somebody even more conservative?
That's what it sounds like. That's what you're going to do. Or it's just a great way of, hey, sticking it to the man.
Right.
Get him, Joey.
We're confusing things.
That's right.
Chaos.
That's what we're trying to instill. Chaos.
And by the way, have you seen like the plans for the new State House?
I have not.
It is going to be nicer. It's like a new day in Alabama.
Going to get better work done there? Or are we
Who
just
knows?
kind of changing the name of a school again?
Who knows? It's like, with Tuberville coming in, it could be there's some changes that happen. Now, I'm not holding my breath or,
Okay. We have been fooled before, Joey.
I'm just saying it's nicer than going in there and like, how when you enter this room, you start coughing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been even worse if you had gone to the State House with me.
I don't have nothing to say right now. That's nice. So good.
No, that old moldy building. I was like, this place is depressing. The chambers, I guess, were nice.
When you
enough.
put your people through hell, you got to work in hell.
That's just, you are such a negative Nancy sometimes.
Sorry.
My God, the Chisholm comes out in this boy. I'm going to throw dirt clods at people.
Not the worst idea in the world.
It is amazing. You're 57 years old, and you're still that little boy throwing big old wads of dirt at cars.
Sad as that sounds, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm still that hopeless romantic who went crying to mom when a girl rejected him in second grade.
I mean, I hate it for you, but at the same time, I envy you.
See, you know things about me of recent vintage, and like I have not changed really.
Yeah, but you're going to be able to fall in love again.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for love.
You are a sucker for love.
I'm a sucker for love. So watching this, and when this happens with you, I'll be very envious because you only fall in love really good one good time. And I feel like the one that's coming up for you is going to be a really good one.
You're a sucker on that smoothie earlier, and look at that, how low that is.
And healthy.
And sucking on that smoothie. What did you? It's strawberry, and you put whey protein in it.
I don't know, whatever they did. I paid $1.60, so whatever that is.
Okay. Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you with buying a home.
Talk about lovely people, Joey.
They really are lovely.
They really are.
Or maybe you're looking to refinance your home.
Yes.
Buying a home,
really
refinancing a home. And especially if you're a veteran, whether you're looking to buy or refinance, they can help you out. They know the latest with the VA mortgage programs, and they can help you out in that regard. And, it's all sorts of basic things, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. You don't want to think like, I can just do it myself.
You don't want to go there.
No, that's like, because there's all sorts of tricks out there and people that ain't going to give you the whole story. Yep. Let's put it that way.
A lot of people out there just trying to make a buck, Joey.
Especially if it's a big company that's not locally, has no local nexus. Right. They really just, you're a number.
You are a number.
But with Alabama Home Mortgage, you're a neighbor.
Yep.
And they, again, are ready to help you out. Great refinance or home purchase. So check them out today. Just start the conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. And you don't have to buy tomorrow.
No, not at all.
It's good to just get the process going. Stop just, procrastinate. Come on. And of course, you can always go to myalabamahomemortgage.com. Check them out there. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. There is a difference in mortgage companies.
Huge difference.
Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of healthcare you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
We get a lot of questions about what all we handle at Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader, and we will handle all of your real estate needs.
We handle all your buying and selling needs, from your first home, next home, land, investment property, and even commercial properties.
We do it all and have the experience that shows you what makes us different.
So when you think real estate, think Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Look us up on Facebook or give us a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you who you have on your sign matters.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
At Montgomery Men's Health, we saw a bunch of patients last month. Almost none came because of an ad. They came because something happened. A fight with a wife who finally said, get help. A breakup. A new relationship that made them aware of things they used to ignore. A photo a friend tagged them in. One guy said he just stared at himself in the mirror, and that was enough. If today's your day, call right now. 334-440-3663. I'm Dr. Smith, urologist and advisor to Montgomery Men's Health. Built on almost 15 years of treating men in Alabama, one patient at a time. Dedicated to ED, low T, and male performance. Here's what happens when you call. We book you this week. We'll get a lab in an hour. For ED, we walk you through your real options at the same visit. A plan before you leave. Don't let today turn into next year. Call now. 334-440-3663. That's 334-440-3663. MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From little fender benders to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For 4 decades, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Well, hi, everybody. Once again, today, heat will be the big story. Dangerous heat indices near or above the 105 danger range, with the actual high temperature in the middle 90s today. Will be in the mid 70s tonight, and there will be scattered, random afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, which will tend to fade out at night. But then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think we'll see limited sunshine, and the scattered showers and storms will become rather numerous. As a front stalls out in the state, more towns will get wet, fewer towns will stay dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, as promised, and I like it, they're here early. We have a candidate that we're just talking about, the brand new District 2, which is really a lot like the old District 2. After all the switcheroo going on with the redistricting and the good court cases, in my humble opinion. So joining us, we have one of the candidates, one of the 6 candidates running for that position. We have David Matthews joining us. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Joey. How are you?
Very good. Very good. So I want to open up with this. My first impression of you was that video you put out.
That's how I found out about you, honestly.
Yeah, and my takeaway was, first off, like, I'll just admit it, there was a little bit of a comic effect for me, like, because I know you were in a very poignant place. There was a comic effect where I think it was genuinely funny to see your son turn and go, "Are you crying?" But I also went away from that going, what else is going on here? Like, and I want to start there, and I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
Like, why that emotion in that moment?
Oh, man. Good question out the gate. So first I'll say I took that video down. I don't know if you noticed.
Okay.
And the reason why, and I don't, I got emotional in that video. I'll get to it in a second, but I took it down because someone made a comment. Everybody always comments on social media. And I listen to every comment. I think criticism, reading it and trying to understand it is very important, because not many people will criticize you. Sometimes they say it behind your back. Someone said, in the video, I'm like upset because I started with the president in 2016. I met my wife on his campaign in Pennsylvania. Met my wife. We have 5 kids now.
Right.
Because Trump decided to leave his, billionaire lifestyle of luxury and go into the trenches of politics. And in the video, I've commented and I said that I owe him everything. And the person that commented on the video, they said, David, you don't owe the president anything. You owe God.
Amen.
And when he said that, that one stung.
Yeah.
I probably thought about that comment every day since the video was put on YouTube, and I took it down. But the reason why I was so emotional, it's it's a lot of different things. I devoted my life and my family's lives to serving this country with the president, and a lot of baggage came with that. I lost friends and family members. Wouldn't talk to me anymore. I never shook in my support for the president. I still don't, even given the circumstances. And when I made that video, it was raw. I came, like, literally when I sat down, my wife opened the back door and she said, David, Speaker Johnson just endorsed your opponent as well.
Oh.
And I was like, man, and I literally resigned from my position in the administration, went unemployed with 5 kids, because I knew that this is the path God wanted me on. And it was raw. But I was hurt for a lot of reasons, and it was very fresh in that moment. I don't know what else to say. It was I got past it after a couple days, and then I guess refocused my energy towards this campaign and running for this seat because of just how important this is. And I reached out to you immediately because I heard you played it on the air. Someone contacted me, so. Well,
and somebody said we should actually meet because, I've got a past myself, and but it's a first impression. From the moment we do a lot of this, like when somebody puts out a political ad or puts out a video, we do kind of the assessment, and normally it's the stock thing. Like, is there a football there? Is somebody sitting in a church pew? Like, somebody got a half-cocked or a broken down shotgun over their shoulder? Or they want And so I initially was going into it like that as sort of a piece of political messaging. And then I realized halfway through that there's more depth there, and it seems like now that you've explained it, that you were just in the moment and like you said, raw. And so I usually kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean it, ask every candidate, whether running for Congress or anything else, like, why do this to yourself? Because I think there is a bit of a thorn along with the rose of any campaign and running for any office. But it sounds like you've already explained it quite well. You felt called to do this by God. Correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like a lot of that history, like you gave me a book that is in many ways about your story. So you've obviously, it's a thick, good book. This isn't Regnery Publishing, the latest corporate push. So you've definitely thought about your time and thought about your life and where it is taking you. And it just seems like all this that I have not yet to read, because you just handed it to me, is in your mind as you're making that raw video and realizing, the speaker and the president just. So I don't know. It, in a way, I removed from the moment of being the cynical commentator. I'm like, oh, this guy actually did something real.
Well,
shouldn't be punished for that.
So you saw that older video. Have you seen any of the recent ones I put out?
No.
Yeah, you should. I recommend you going and seeing some of my more recent speeches. I did one in the Dale County speech, is what it's called, on YouTube, and I think you would enjoy that. When I joined in this race, and when I make any life decision, my wife and I, we pray for guidance. And the only guidance that I have gotten for this race was just to be myself. And, that's what I was in that first video you saw me. And that, if you do watch that Dale County speech, that is me being myself. I have no notes. It's not rehearsed. I just go up there, and sometimes when I do my speeches, like, I think I know what I'm going to say, and I go up there and it's like something just takes over. I can't explain it, but the reason I jumped in this race is I've been up in DC working in a capacity that most people never experience, and the things I've seen have alarmed me and scared me for our nation in ways that I don't even want to tell you.
But I want you to tell me.
Well, I think you got something at the top of the hour. We don't have the time. I could go for hours. I could literally speak for 5 hours and just never repeat myself of the things I learned. And when I worked up for the president, I interviewed in the first term and the second term, over 500 people to come into the administration. And so that was just one thing I did. I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many hours that was. I'm getting their resume. You know, I try to make every interview thoughtful. I want to know what makes them tick, you know, what kind of person they are. I hire the person usually more than the experience. And when you go through 500 people of totally different professional experiences, and they're going in totally different jobs, and you learn a lot about the kind of people that seek politics, and then my interactions with people in the House and the Senate. You know, you see the other side of the curtain, I guess, you know, what they are doing when they're up there and you can't see them, but I can. It is very alarming. I'm just being very kind in the way I say that. And when the seat opened, I knew what I was up against. You know, at the time there was one candidate from Enterprise who had the endorsement of a U.S. Senator. That's pretty big. Many months of preparation and campaign building. I had nothing on May 22nd. But I knew that I would not be able to live with myself if I didn't jump in this race, because I know I can do a better job.
Again, folks, we're talking to David Matthews. If folks, as they're hearing this conversation, want to check out more of these videos as you're talking about and learn more about you, especially as we get into more of the issues and topics in that regard, how can they look at it with their own eyes?
Absolutely. I mean, we're you know, we built a campaign. I mean, I'll keep in mind anything you look at online that we've done. We started May 22nd from absolute ground zero. You know, some people have said, David, we always knew you were going to run. And I was like, if I knew I was going to run, I would have had this built already. But we have Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. A lot of the speeches I've done are on YouTube and Facebook. And I would be bold enough to say you probably haven't seen a lot of the type of speeches I've done before, because I don't cover the usual talking points for Republicans and Democrats. But, you know, our website is davidmatthewsforcongress.com. And, you know, everything you see, we built ourselves. You know, every video that's been out there, for the most part, I have gone into Adobe Premiere and stitched together myself.
Yeah.
You know, like in my pajamas at 1 or 2 in the morning.
Right.
You know, we're working 19-hour days. I'm confident that if enough people just simply hear my message, that it will be an easy decision for them on August 11th. That's the biggest goal, really.
Well, and I would love if you do have the time, like we've got to talk to a sponsor off the top of the hour, but it's a quick call. If you've got time for the whole next hour,
I'll stick around for sure.
Would love to get into stuff. But if there's one thing, and I wanted to ask you this before I met you here today in person, one thing about the political process that you know that you wish more people knew.
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah. So, you know, if any of your listeners or viewers go out and see my speeches, it's something I repeat a lot of times. I was being interviewed by the Dale County Chronicle, and they said, David, what lesson would you take up to to DC if you got elected? And, you know, I have a million of them. So, like, what do I choose from? So to answer your question, the thing that I really am curious about is why there is such a knowledge gap between the people we have elected in the House and the Senate and the executive branch. So, you know, they are making decisions on a lot of very important decisions that dictate the lives of all Americans on every industry, you know, that touches us. Everything that we do, they have a huge effect on, and that goes through the executive branch. And I've been on the receiving end of their decisions, their obligations, their policies. And because I'm working in the machine of the executive branch, and I understand how it works and how it affects lives, I can tell by what they're doing up there that they really don't understand. And I've been in so many conversations with names you'd recognize, people who are high-ranking officials on committees and their chiefs of staffs. And I'm like, hey, you know, you guys need, and I probably shouldn't even have been doing this in my capacity in the administration, because we're not supposed to really do these sorts of things. But I'm like, hey, this program's like really important. You know, our, you know, timber industry or, you know, meat processing industry is about to collapse. And if you just simply put a little bit more money here that could be used for, you know, loans or grants, that could be all we need. And they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And that is scary. That is very scary.
That there's a disconnect between so much of where the rubber meets the road and actual consequences of political power versus the folks that are in positions of elected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a shame in the sense that I've long suspected, I've long gotten frustrated when somebody says your vote is your voice. I'm like, no, my voice. Like a vote is one share in the say of like what we're going to send up there. And when I look at like even my favorite congressman or favorite senator, they're only one person among many. And even when you vote for a president, what you find is government it doesn't change as much as you would hope for. That it doesn't seem like the ideal little R Republican where we meet together at the town hall. It seems like the folks that are career up there that's where most of the action is. And it shouldn't be that way. It sounds like you agree that it should be much more about who's actually elected. We're supposed to be an elected republic.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it seems like Washington, D.C. is not. It's like many governments throughout human history.
Absolutely. I mean, there's many angles to that, really. The executive branch is really, I'd say in a large part, it's calling a lot of the shots. When people have problems with the way their government's functioning, the way they get those solved is they reach out to the representative, and the representative writes a letter. And I've seen where those letters go. And sometimes they sit in an inbox in someone's computer for 60 days before anyone gets a chance to even look at them. And that is a big problem. That's a huge problem. The federal government, I'm a staunch fiscal conservative, but we put a lot of our own money that we earn through hard work. It goes up to DC, and that money should be working for us. And it's not for a lot of reasons, and that needs to change. And I hope I can change that. I just have to win this primary, and general. But
well, how do you think the campaign is going? Because we got about 5 minutes here before the top of the hour break. Like it sounds like as you said, do it yourself, like all hands on deck. You have to spin this up quick. You're going up against a machine.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word. So like if you had to give the sort of elevator pitch to like the person like that comes up to you after the forum, after the speeches or right before, you've been around these things more than I have. Like, what do you say? Like act like I haven't talked to you for the last several minutes. I've seen anything about you. Like, why are you running for Congress?
Well, I'm running for Congress because I think I can do a better job, I guess is the very short answer. I have experience that, easily no other candidate I'm running against has. Even Shamari Figures, a Democrat incumbent, he does not have my experience. And I would argue, really, I don't think there's any other candidate in this country who has my experience, because I've worked in both Trump administrations. I've worked on specific policy. Now, there's a lot of different jobs you can have in administration. I've worked on policy dealing with everything that touches agriculture, farmers, foresters, ranchers. I've done rural development, infrastructure, and housing and business development, and I know how to create jobs. Some politicians will say they know the problems, they don't know how to solve them. I know how to solve the problems, and if I get up there, I'm telling you, I hope that people get the opportunity to see what it looks like, because it's going to make them ask a lot of questions.
Well, and another thing I worry about because I've seen a lot of folks who I think are very earnest and actually mean what they say. They get up there and I think they get lost in the culture, and not just the culture, the system, like the committee system, the hierarchy, even if you have a wave election, you still have that built-in seniority system and so many other things. But it sounds like you're just familiar with that. It wouldn't be a foreign thing that would be able to trick you.
Don't get me wrong. There's things in the legislative branch that I need to learn. But because of this foundational knowledge I have on the executive branch, that is a short journey to figure out. And regarding these committees, do you know that you have to pay money to be on these things?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fundraising, essentially.
It's fundraising. It's ridiculous.
So these people buy their seats, and it's essentially whoever has the most money gets to make the decisions that affect your lives.
Yep.
Right.
Not the experience. We should be electing the people who understand how to get the job done, and the ones who are going to go up there and literally fight, like fight for what we need, not just say they're going to fight, like know how to get it done. And essentially the way American politics, Democrat and Republican politics are today, it's money. Who's got the money? And that's not how you find somebody to lead. You gotta, needs to be by merit and experience.
Hear, hear. Well, I at this top of the hour, we're going to talk to Michael Coe with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. But please stick around because I'd love to keep this conversation going. I think
Absolutely.
we got a lot we can touch on here. This part of the program brought to you, folks, by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you don't feel like a man anymore. Now, of course, there's a lot of people who are on the latest fad of low testosterone, and it's not a fad, it's a true problem going on in our society at the moment. That there are a lot of guys walking around, not just in their 50s or 60s, but a lot of guys in their 20s and 30s who just have low testosterone. And, instead of going with one of these fly-by-night companies or somebody just started up, go with Montgomery Men's Health. They've been helping men out with that issue, low testosterone, for about 15 years now here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. So if you don't know your numbers, gentlemen, and you just don't feel good on many fronts, whether it's just lack of confidence, lack of energy, sleep patterns all off, getting thick around the middle, losing muscle mass, maybe you have no libido to speak of, with no fun, no life force at all, just get by Montgomery Men's Health. A $99 testosterone test with your numbers in about an hour is just a phone call away at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or you can book online at montgomerymenshealth.com. That's Montgomery Men's Health for every man and every season of life. We'll be back more with David Matthews, candidate for Congress, right after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump is doing a very busy schedule today when it involves two very difficult jobs, especially, he said, the hardest one of all is going to say goodbye to fallen soldiers who passed away last week in the war against Iran. He says it's the hardest job that he ever has to do as commander-in-chief, and he was doing that today as he went over to Dover Air Force Base. Later, he'll be talking about something that he's a little more optimistic about. During a high school ceremony, he'll be talking about the importance of those Trump accounts by which any baby born during his second term will get a free $1,000 from the government and hopefully turn it into a lot of money by the time they are 18. Arizona means a political victory for President Trump. As of yesterday, his endorsed candidate, Andy Biggs, captured the GOP nomination for Arizona governor. On Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 75, the NASDAQ down 97 points. This is SRN.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland. Giveaways galore all summer long. Diamond Days Diamond Jewelry Giveaway and TV Tuesdays TV Giveaway with $185,000 in free play at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22 Shorter, Alabama.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Once again, today, heat will be the big story. Dangerous heat indices near or above the 105 danger range, with the actual high temperature in the middle 90s today. Will be in the mid 70s tonight, and will be scattered, random, Afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms, which will tend to fade out at night. But then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I think we'll see limited sunshine, and the scattered showers and storms will become rather numerous. As a front stalls out in the state, more towns will get wet, fewer towns will stay dry. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Back to school shopping starts now, and ASC Credit Union has you covered. Our back to school loan helps you pay for supplies, laptops, clothes, and more. Stop by your local ASC branch or apply today at yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
1819 News.
The Alabama Supreme Court has agreed to expedite a lawsuit that was filed against U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville as he runs to be Alabama's next governor. The lawsuit was filed by Barry Ragsdale in a Montgomery Circuit Court. However, the judge there dismissed the case, saying the court had no jurisdiction. Ragsdale then decided to appeal the dismissal of this case to the Alabama Supreme Court. This appeal is scheduled to be completed sometime in August. This means both sides will submit their briefs on the case. Ragsdale contends that Tuberville is prohibited by the Alabama Constitution to run as governor, claiming he fails to meet the 7-year residency requirement. Tuberville maintains that he has met those requirements, which have been evaluated and supported repeatedly by the leadership within the Alabama Republican Party. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness License Plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
1819 News is welcoming Drew Hicks as the next Senior Vice President of Operations. Hicks is a former Marine and defense contractor who resides in Huntsville along with his wife and 6 children. Hicks brings 15 years of leadership experience to the table in operational efficiency and growth. Before working within the defense programs that support the U.S. military, Hicks was also an active duty Marine helicopter mechanic. A 4th victim of a house fire in Athens has now been identified. 61-year-old Holly Tucker died in the July 4th house fire. An autopsy will determine Tucker's cause of death. Her identity was revealed this week by the Limestone County coroner. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
Lowe's knows to bring your vision to life, it's important to find the right color. That's why My Lowe's Rewards members get a free paint or exterior stain sample to test your look and find the perfect color to confidently refresh your space. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer valid in-store only 5/8 through 5/14. Limit 1 per customer while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See associate for details. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Folks, welcome back. Let's go to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen with Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good to hear from you. How's it going at Cohen's? Anything crazy going on?
I tell you, we've got a lot of customers that we're getting new TVs for. I keep waiting for Troy to come in and get that 85, but I can't hold my breath this long. But anyway, you've got your little helper there today.
Yes, Michael. It's good to hear from you, as always. I don't know
Yes.
if I'm so little, Michael. I'm 57 years old, like 6'3", maybe. I don't think I'm so little.
Okay. Thanks, little guy.
That's not what she said. No.
You saw that video. Michael, I know you were envious. I know you were envious.
Yes, 6'3". But and Joey, you're being so professional.
Indeed. Indeed, I am.
Oh, it's killing him, Michael. You know it's killing him right now.
I made fun of him too much earlier about him sipping a strawberry smoothie, and we've already got
to be healthy
today.
My
And
bad.
he's so proud of that wakeboarding video. And he only went once. And
48 seconds, baby.
Anyway. Just, now, I'd like to see that wakeboarding video on a 109-incher.
Well, you know what? I know a guy who's got that TV.
Yeah.
Michael.
115.
115?
115?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, with those new TVs like that, Michael, if you have, besides cable and things like that, if I have like my little scan device, can I put that in there to watch videos or TV or pictures? Like if I want to make that my TV, my picture of me wakeboarding,
yes,
all the time on there as like a backdrop. Is that possible with the new TVs, Michael?
Oh, you could. You
All
could.
right.
You could put it in like picture mode,
Mm-hmm.
and then it could even rotate your different seconds of your 48.
Yes.
video.
Dude, we could make it go a whole minute. I like the way you're thinking, Michael. Now, is also, can we do that on Joey's TV? Because I know Joey really wants to watch it all the time.
Yeah, no, right.
On Joey's TV, you could probably put it on a thumb drive.
Yes.
And put it in there, and then
All right.
you could watch it.
All right, Joey, I'll
and
get you a
could,
thumb drive.
and I guess you could have it on repeat.
No, I have a screensaver that's Raphael's Disputation of the Holy Sacrament.
I know, but you could have Eddie wakeboarding for 48
Yeah,
seconds.
I'm not going to play into your vainglory any more than I already do.
I understand.
But it's just great. No matter how odd the request, you're able to serve folks there at Cohen's.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the whole key of everything is you want to try to find a solution, and typically there is a solution. You just got to think about it, and you can figure it out. And that's what our guys are really programmed to do. Whether it's appliances, whether it's audio and video, whether it's installation, they do a good job at trying to think outside of the box.
So, folks, you can always check them out online at thinkcohens.com, but you really got to get by. If you're wanting a brand new TV or like a big new appliance or big new grill, go see it in person. Get to know these great folks there at Cohen's. And it's not just great products. They're never beat on service. I mean, it could be years later if something's wrong. They'll take a call. So just stop by 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and tell him you heard him on the show with Joey and Joey's little guy helper.
That's right, the wakeboard professional.
If you guys could have seen me back in the day. You're turning me into that old man now. All right. Well, thank you, Michael. It's always a pleasure,
All right,
buddy.
Well, thank you, Eddie. Glad to hear your voice.
Thanks, Mike.
See you, Michael. Anyway, we'll be right back. Very quick.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. Here are several ways to attract more buyers to your home. First, price it right to sell, not to sit. An accurate market analysis will tell you what price it should be. Next, prepare the home to show and sell by deep cleaning by a professional cleaner, including carpet. Declutter all rooms, including closets. Evaluate flooring, replace if needed. Paint inside and out where needed. And make the kitchen and bath sparkle. How about the exterior? Are the colors faded on the shutters or fascia? Power washing them and all sidewalks and driveways and patios prior to listing the house. Remember, your price and curb appeal will create a showing appointment. Your condition of the house will make them stay and look longer and buy quicker. For all the steps you need to take to get your house ready for sale, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group, 334-221-2883 or 334-551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back.
for Congress, running in the brand new District 2. And it's David Matthews for Congress on Facebook if folks want to check out some more things about you
Yes,
beyond
sir.
this interview.
Yes, sir.
Now, before we go, if you can grab some headphones here because of Babs. I want to bring
Yeah, I gotta
Babs
hear
on.
Babs.
Babs, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I wanted to remind Mr. Matthews that I met him last month at the Republican ladies meeting and suggested that he come on your show. And I'm so glad you did. When I first heard Joey play that video, I called in and told him I hoped you would come on and defend yourself because my friend and I were so very impressed with you, your background, your experience, all the things you seem to know, just the short speech that you made. And if I could or if she could, we would vote for you, but we live in Prattville. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on the radio and defending yourself because I think you're the best candidate of what I've heard. And I was very disappointed that President Trump didn't support you. So
I don't. Sorry, keep
Go
going,
ahead.
Babs.
no, you go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'd say that probably needs to be phrased a little differently. I wouldn't phrase it as President Trump didn't support me. It's a little different than I think most people realize, but maybe we'll get into that. But
You need to get into that because I don't understand.
Okay, well, did I meet you in Pike County or Wetumpka?
Montgomery.
Oh, okay. No, I do at Sinclair's East.
No, at Montgomery Country Club.
That's right. Okay, that was the Jackson Hospital speech. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
But like
Okay.
I said, your background was so amazing to me with President Trump. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that, and like I said, I'm so glad to hear you on the radio. I'm glad you came in to defend yourself because I think you're the right candidate, and I wish I could vote for you. So, prayers for you, and thank you, Joey and Eddie, for letting me on.
Thank you, Babs.
Love you guys.
So earlier we were talking about, why you, especially over other candidates, and said, well, pretty straight up, I think I do the job better. Now, so what is the job? Because there are a lot of ways people come in here and say, I want lower taxes and strong military and I love Trump. But if, as you see it with your experience, what is the job that you're hoping to do for folks?
Yeah, you're asking good questions. So I think there's a little misconception on what these roles are actually capable of. And right before I came back home from D.C., I'll tell, this is some dirty laundry. I was at the Capitol Hill Club up in D.C. This is kind of like the frat house of the Republican Party.
Okay.
And, it's where all the elected officials and their staff go and eat lunch. And I was sitting down with two junior congressmen, not from Alabama. And they're like, well, we got to go vote in the chamber. We got to vote on something. And I was like, so what are you voting on? And they had no idea. They had no idea. And their chief of staff also didn't know. There's one guy that's chief of staff. And so, some people think that these roles, you just go up there and you vote on legislation. That's not entirely true, or really that's just a small part of it. You're choosing how much money the executive branch gets, what agencies are funded, what amounts, what kind of needs do they have, staffing, if they want to modernize their IT, how much money do they get to modernize it so it cuts bureaucracy and stops wasting money. I could go on for days. What kind of programs should we stand up to save the timber industry, which is in shambles? That is an industry that is near and dear to my heart. Congressionally designated spending. This is a big one. So, earmarks is another way they're called. The acronym is CDS. So congressionally designated spending. One of the things I've been doing on my campaign is, and it's an unconventional campaign, is I'm going around and I'm meeting with people in all the communities. I'm saying, what's broken? What do you need help with? Where could the federal government help when you haven't been getting it? And, here's one, for instance, water infrastructure. Literally only one town I've talked to, Sampson in Geneva County, a little small town. Every single town I've talked to needs new water infrastructure. Phoenix City, they're about to fall into the river on the border of Alabama. They need water infrastructure. And so the way that works is You can either go through the USDA, which is surprising, Department of Agriculture, and get funding for water infrastructure. And there are other places you can go, EPA, and you do an earmark, and that money can go and fund a project in a local town, and then Phoenix City doesn't have to raise their taxes. Geneva doesn't have to raise their taxes. It takes a huge burden off of them because this money already exists. You're not creating more government. These are programs that get a certain obligation in a fiscal year. Usually hundreds of millions minimum, but billions of dollars. And the way it works is the first portion of it gets taken away by earmarks, and there's always money left over. And then the money that's left over, the communities have to apply for it manually, which is very difficult. And a lot of communities, have city halls in their fire stations, like the city of Webb, and they can't do all that work. And they're working part-time, they're mayors. And, if I go up there, I can help towns get this money that's not being grabbed. And it's fixing infrastructure that they need to expand, develop housing, bring in, industries, and this is not complicated stuff. And when I was in the department, when I was in the executive branch, you knew which senators and which members of the House of Representatives were good because they were the only ones doing earmarks.
Right.
This is like 101. They go up there, they should know about these things, but they're not even asking for the money. And I don't know all the issues facing our entire nation, but just based on what I have learned through my various jobs and this campaign, most towns need water infrastructure.
Yep.
That should be grabbed. It's not being grabbed. It's because our leaders just don't know all the things they can do in this capacity.
So you see the job as like actually looking at the needs of the district, using the mechanisms available to you as an elected member of Congress to meet those needs, especially with financing to fix those needs. Wait, it's not fundraising and letting your staff take care of it and voting and giving speeches and stuff?
So again, and I don't want to sound like I'm just like, beating my chest and gloating. I have experience on delivering results. And if I do happen to get elected into this role and I have some adversity that I'd have to overcome, and I will say this, if I win this race, it will be the biggest political upset in Alabama history, period. And maybe that's something we can talk about later. But I want to have it so that the minute I start, I can start delivering for Alabama. And I already know the problems. And when I go speak to people, if you go watch my speeches, I'm not talking about, these tired talking points that have been drilled into us since, the last 15, 20 years. I'm talking about what are the problems and exactly what we need to solve. And people are kind of surprised by that.
Now, and I think also a lot of people get caught up with whatever the party nationally is pushing. And I imagine you were working in the Trump administration. So on a lot of these, like where the team needs to all be on the same page to get a particular vote done, it sounds like you're going to be there in that regard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd imagine you understand better than me. It is a team sport to a certain degree. But it's got to be more than just I'm a good member of the team. It's got to be like the actual expertise that you would bring. Now, you mentioned it would be a huge upset. Let's just set the table for that. It's unfortunate you weren't somebody's neighbor in Enterprise.
Oh, you do your research.
And so, we've had Senator Brett, had Katie on the show many times here. She lives here.
Loves Eddie.
Tomorrow, Brett will be on the program. The first time I'll be meeting him and talking to him. But, because when I saw, she had endorsed right when it was the old districts and then I immediately saw this Trump endorsement go. To me, this came across as like, well, Trump talked to her and talked to folks around in that world and like the decision was made. And so the big question is, how do you overcome that? That is from Senator Britt to President Trump to many others, but those two in particular in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
That's as good as gold in many cases.
Well, in many cases. Yeah. So, I'd say if this was a typical primary election or a typical general election, I would have probably cut my losses, or I would have just, dropped out of this race, because overcoming endorsements like that in those types of races, it is difficult. I mean, you really have, and I would say maybe if I had a much longer runway, maybe I could overcome that adversity because, I think I have a compelling story, a compelling platform. But this race is very unique where no one's showing up. No one knows it exists. I bet you most of your viewers aren't aware that on August 11th in Southeast Alabama, you're voting on, one of 6 Republican candidates that's going to go against a Democrat incumbent. And, I've talked to people who do data analytics in campaigns, and they say the first number they gave me was 35,000 people in all these counties. And that's Montgomery, that's Dothan, that's Enterprise, that's Ozark, that's Troy. 35,000 people total. Last time I talked to them, 30,000 is what they're seeing. And I think it's going to be less than that. And so to answer your question, I could potentially win this with 10,000 votes. How crazy is that? And I would argue that in this sort of instance, endorsements aren't as strong because there is literally 1 seat on the ballot. When people go and vote in a primary or general, they're voting on 9 different seats. Even this runoff we had on June 15th, U.S. Senator, Lieutenant Governor, Ag Commissioner, and a whole wide array. People had many different reasons to go vote. And when people go vote and there's a lot of seats, they're like, oh, I love Barry Moore, got to go vote for him. Well, I heard this guy, from Enterprise that I've never really, heard of before. He's endorsed by the president. I'll put a check next to his name, and you get votes that way. This is which candidate is the most compelling. This is like you look at the 6 different candidates. Who do you think is going to get the most people to say, you know what, I'm going to leave work today. I'm going to go vote for that person because I know that guy's going to fight for me. Which one is that? And I think that I think that's going to lead to a more honest decision on voters.
Yeah, and that low turnout number, that is astounding that it could be that low. I think that does mean there's more at play. It's just a matter of getting your folks to turn out. But on, say, more the policy side, how would you distinguish yourself from, say, some of your other opponents running? Because I think everybody agrees we want to beat, if you're a Republican, you want to beat Shamari Figures in the general. But but how would you on the policy side distinguish yourself for some of these folks?
Well, that's an easy question to answer. I don't know because my opponents never really talk about policy. I mean, it's the thing, and I think it goes back to the reason why when I do my speeches, and they're online, and you can watch them on YouTube, David Matthews for Congress, I go up there and I'm talking about policy, and people are kind of taken back by it. And if you go watch any of the stump speeches of my opponents, I could literally sit here and give you their stump speeches. I've heard them enough times. They're very tired. It's and this is I'm pretty sure this is why this is the case. They're very general in what they talk about because they don't understand a lot of things like I do. And I can get into the weeds. I've actually been told by several people, like, David, you need to stop getting so complicated in the things you're saying because, people can't hold on to it.
Most people don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you saw the video, okay?
I did, yeah.
Like when I confronted my opponent's voting record, he stood up in front of everybody in that room in Enterprise and told them they don't understand how local government works. That was pretty wild. But, the way I guess the short answer to your question, what differs me from my opponents regarding policy is I actually understand it and I know the implications of it.
Now, how is it getting along? Because I'm sure y'all are getting to know each other. And this is just the latest question just popped in my mind. Like, is it tense in those rooms or folks? Because I don't know. I always see when there's enough sizzle, like when a lady's going, sit down and hush. Like, that's when it gets to me.
Yeah.
I don't go usually to a Republican women event, but
yeah. Well, no, I got my two first hecklers in Enterprise. Those were friends of the candidates. And after the event, people came up to me. I mean, people came out of the woodwork, reached out to us on social media. And I was at the VFW in Dothan yesterday, and the guy sat next to me. We were talking for 10 minutes. Like, he was like, tell me about yourself. He's like, and then at the end of the 10 minutes, he said, by the way, I love that, what I saw you did in Enterprise. That was the best thing I've ever seen. But yeah, is it tense? That was the last time I was in the room with all the candidates. I don't know. We'll see. We have something at the Shorter Mansion in Eufaula on the 4th of August. I'm doing a lot of thinking on exactly how I want to do that speech. Every speech I do is different. just because I have a lot of things to draw upon. But, I'm not the people that I worked with in DC. I know they're watching, my speeches, and I bet they're like, where was this side of David? Because, they called me, I was the kind of guy that everybody came to me and trauma dumped, their problems, for me to help them solve them. And I was like always the guy supporting them and very kind and soft spoken. And I've had to, I guess, present a different side because that's just the nature of this race and how important it is to win.
You're here. Now, where do you think the country is right now? And before you answer, my general take is there will be a time when Trump is not president.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've gone through this incredible generational turnover and paradigm shift in media, and across the board from entertainment media to information media. And most major institutions are not trusted, for better or for worse. I think the military's still above water, and that's because I think folks know the family member that serves. But maybe if you just pull, what do you think of the Pentagon and top brass? They probably don't have great numbers either. But down the line, you just see this age of distrust, and thus you're seeing a huge crop up of conspiracy.
Oh.
So I feel like there's a role, in at least in a small part in a district as one member of Congress, to help shape, well, here's our identity. Here's what we can build together, and maybe build a little trust. Maybe you don't trust everybody else, but you can trust me.
Yeah, well, I've got a good answer for this. I'll focus on one word you said, conspiracy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that I gave you a softback and a hardback version of the book I wrote, My Trail to the White House. And in the first edition, that hardback you're holding, at the very end, the last page, is a conspiracy I have. And it's a code. You'd have to figure, and you can't feed it into AI. I made it complicated. It will tell you a conspiracy I came up with that I think could be true. And I like to entertain conspiracies because, they're just kind of fun. But I gave this line in the speech I did in Ozark, and on YouTube, I think it's the Dale County speech. It may have been in Elba, the Machi Lower Creek Indian tribe speech I did, but this is my belief on it. A lot of people have conspiracies, and they talk about corruption on what they think is going on in DC. And Candace Owens really good at stirring up conspiracy. She's an artist on that. But a lot of conspiracies out there, a lot of claims of corruption. If I had to guess what % of it was actually conspiracy and corruption, I would say maybe 2%. And I'll say this is what I say in the speech. This is the sad part of it. You want to believe that it's corruption. I want to believe it's corruption. Because then with that framing, then you believe it's sophisticated. But the reality of it is, it's Washington, D.C., all the things that go on there, while it is complex, it's not as sophisticated as you think. And what's really going on is we have some people in Washington, D.C., and they're not all of them. I don't want to put a generalization here, but we have people that we elect into office that are in D.C. who don't know what they're doing. They do not know the ramifications of their decisions. And it is a hotbed of billion-dollar corporations who are just screwing us. They're draining our government dry. They're trying to get every penny out of everything they can. It's like a stuck pig.
Yeah.
And when we witness that, we try to make sense of it, and our thoughts go to conspiracies or, corruption, but really it's incompetence and laziness.
Well, and just to respond to that real quick, when you talk about the corporation screwing us, amen. But I'd imagine that's not like the, men twirling their mustaches and smoking cigars. It's like, it's almost impersonal at this point, to where it's just built in. This is just what you do. I'm just paying the mortgage because this is the particular job. And if I'm a corporation, of course, I'm going to have a whole team of lobbyists that are going to push our perspective to help our bottom line. It's just what you do. And so it seems like it's almost, it's not like the personal conspiracies and all the political intrigue. I imagine it's almost systematic up there. Like it's just a matter of course.
Do you know, imagine $1 billion, what you could do with $1 billion for Montgomery.
Oh wow.
You know, just think about, you could fix Jackson Hospital. You could fix the airport. Now, I'm not throwing shade on the people who run the airport. My Lord, I've never got out of there on time. When I was in the executive branch, I watched $1 billion burn in front of my eyes on an attempt to create custom software for an agency. And I tried to stop it the whole time, and no one listened to me. And it failed, as I predicted. I was the only one talking out about it. And I mean, I talk about this in my Geneva County speech. The GAO, the Government Accountability Office, came in, did a little audit on it, sitting collecting dust on the internet, and nobody cares. It's brushed off. And the way it, many of the ways that government waste happens is you have these savvy billion-dollar corporations that no one knows the name of, and they're doing contracting, and they know exactly how to work the system. They come in there and they know, okay, well, we're going to sell them this box with trinkets in it, and we know they're going to need these other trinkets. And to get those other trinkets, well, they have to modify a contract, or their original box of trinkets is going to be worthless. And when they modify it, that's another $30 million right there, and that's also going to make the contract timeline extend 2 years. Right.
And as you said, when you're talking about the actually designated congressional spending versus having to apply for it from the locality, it's been astounding to watch, the example, at least in my mind, is Jon Stewart, I think, talking to Ezra Klein, and they were talking about the Biden infrastructure, the process of the grant approval. And it just struck me as, I guess it's legal, but the amount of graft, the amount of people with rakes just taking up all that money before it ever touches a locality that maybe needs a new water system is insane.
Oh, you're asking good. You're bringing good things up. When I went in for the second term, one of the things is we looked at the data on where the money went in the Biden administration. Do you know how much money the Biden administration pushed out the door between the time he lost the election and the time the Trump administration came in? This is the way I'll just describe it. So, if you're looking at a line graph and it tells you, how many obligations are typical in a month, and then you see November, and then it goes vertical. Absolutely vertical. Like hockey stick. And it continues to go vertical and then falls through the floor in January of 2025. And here's the thing, that book I gave you, that first book wasn't even intended to be written. That just came out of the process. The reason I started writing was because I wanted to put what I learned on paper. The horrors and nightmares of the executive branch and what's going on in D.C. I wanted to put it in paper because I didn't know if I'd be back. And I wanted to be able to give that to somebody going up there and saying, here, this is going to save you 4 years. You're going to know where to look. You're going to know what to take care of. You're getting me riled up here, Joey. I could just keep going.
Well, how about this? We got to hit a quick break. Yeah. And then we'll come back. We've also got a call here from Betty. And we'll just keep the conversation going after this break. Sure. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And if you're looking for folks that can take care of all sorts of insect problems, they've got this great monthly subscription model where you control pest control costs across the year. Eddie, you use them a lot.
I use them exclusively for all of our rentals and my personal home as well.
And you really love, though, their extra mosquito removal
That's
service.
what I love, man, because, again, we can sit out, enjoy the lake, enjoy outside. I don't have to worry about people getting eaten up by mosquitoes.
Right. If you're actually trying to solve the world's problems without welts all over your forehead, that's
and
nice.
slapping around, that's
we don't want to be slapped,
right?
Especially on Lake Jordan. That's
exactly
just unseemly. And of course, wildlife control. You got a little critter trying to make a home out of your home.
Raccoons in the attic, squirrels in the attic.
Even a little chipmunk can cause problems.
They sure will.
Pest Pro Services can take care of it. So all you need to do is just check them out today. You can always go to ppsriverregion.com to learn more, or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, very active Facebook page. All sorts of tips and tricks. And when we get back to school back in session, they've loved to highlight local athletics.
Local athletes of the week, yeah.
Ash is just great that way. And, of course, you can always just call them direct at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
For many homeowners, there's untapped reserves hiding in plain sight. It's not in the savings account. It's not in the stock market. It's right under your roof. Now more than ever, homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity, and that equity belongs to you. It can be used to consolidate high-interest credit card debt, to pay expensive school tuition, to cover medical expenses, to invest in renovations, you name it, because that money is yours. This isn't about taking on unnecessary debt. It's about using an asset you already own to improve your financial position and your quality of life. The key is understanding your options and choosing the strategy that fits your goals. Let's see what's possible with the equity in your home. Give us a call at Alabama Home Mortgage today at 334-567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586368, Equal Housing Lender.
Epicure and Jack's Tavern, located at 2060 Downing Street. 5 ice cold beers, 1 bucket, $13. Anytime. At Epicure and Jack's Tavern, their beer buckets are always available. No happy hour clock required. Come in, relax, and enjoy great food with an even better deal. Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Cold beer, fair prices, no fine print. Come taste what everyone's talking about.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
We get this question all the time.
Do you handle that?
Buying or selling a home?
Yes.
Commercial?
Yes.
Land or investments?
Absolutely. Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. One team.
Every real estate move. 334-322-0662.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft, but that's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If they find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes in your financial accounts, they'll alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that can make all the difference. Save up to 30% off your first year with the promo code BECK. LifeLock.com, 800-LifeLock, 1-800-LifeLock, or LifeLock.com. Use the promo code BECK at LifeLock.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Truckers, listen up. A $2,500 sign-on bonus only at Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Work for a company that puts God and family first. 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Lines.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. Showers and storms will populate the radar well into the evening hours tonight before they fade out. And you know the drill. Not every town gets wet. Overnight low temperature in the mid-70s. then tomorrow, Thursday, and also Friday and Saturday, I think the number of storms will pick up and be in quite generous supply, but still random. High temperatures perhaps down just a notch to the lower 90s, but still triple digits on the heat index and 70s at night. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
In studio with us, we have candidate for Congress David Matthews, and we got a phone call for you, David. Let's go to Betty. Hey, Betty, how you doing?
Hi. I want to try and frame. I'm getting feedback here.
Oh, we're getting feedback.
You're loud and clear on our end.
Okay. I want to frame this real quick, and then I'll hang up. Our framers of the Constitution set it up. They didn't want districts huge because it diluted the vote. Right now, we have trying to look at we're following the issues. We're not trying to resolve the problem. Right now, we have 532 people representing 450 million people plus, and I think the districts are way too big to be manipulated. And by Congress, talking about Congress not knowing what's in the bills, that's easy deniability for that they voted on it or not. We need more accountability from our Congress. What can we as a people do? I think that's a large part. We're going to keep losing more and more voters as this process keeps diluting. So that's my question, and I've loved the show so far, all the points that you've hit. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Betty.
Bye-bye.
Good to have her. She just moved here to Montgomery.
Betty, very patient. She was waiting for a minute. Yeah, so I guess what is the question? We should have less people in the House of Representatives?
No, more. Like she's, I think, worried that number's been capped. So you now have 500,000 people to a district.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I will say this new District 2 that I'm running in, very drivable. I can tell you from experience because we've been all over this place. But I'm not against that. Honestly, I've never heard that before, Betty. And for instance, Montgomery is a lot different from my home area, down by Dothan and Ozark and Enterprise. And the value of having districts just in general is, you have an area that is similar to one another, has similar problems, and then you have a representative going to D.C. who is focused on those same problems. And, Montgomery faces a lot of different stuff, a lot of different problems, and even a lot of government programs that, that I focused on in the executive branch aren't even eligible in Montgomery because of the population size. There's eligibility limits on location and populations. And so there's different solutions for big cities. There's different solutions and different problems for smaller towns. And I think that makes sense. And also, I think you're more likely to get an honest vote when you have more people up in D.C. It's, and I don't know how it's always split so close down the middle on all of our elections. That just raises so many questions for me.
It really does. No, and it would be more into the, I think, intention of the founders, where you would have a lot. It would be almost like county size. You would have a lot of districts, so you would have a crazy House of Representatives. So it would truly be sort of Athenian democracy. But then you would have the Senate still being sort of the cooling saucer. Mm-hmm. And, of course, all the different checks that we're supposed to have with the executive and judicial branches. But I think some of capping that and now having these huge districts, it's much easier for, say, bigger consolidated entities to control. But I want to shift away because there are so many, and I think we're very much on the same page and on the same wavelength in the structural problems in D.C. and also on the folks that we often vote for are more actors than they are the true thing. There's always exceptions to the rule. But I want to focus on real quick your faith and how your faith has shaped you in your journey. Just because, I've been on this kick of late that I really want as America goes forward, if we answer that identity crisis and trust problem I brought up earlier, that if we're going to have different players around the table, you can't segregate or isolate Jesus just on Sunday and that faith on Sunday. Now, it doesn't mean everybody's got to be a pastor and everybody's got to be doing theology, but I hope when we get people in different parties sit down at the table that is this nation, one of the voices will be a confident church. And that could be from many different denominations, but and we've had these types of leaders in our history before, and not just a confident voice of the church, but also people, I would hope and pray, on both sides of the aisle that are actually willing to listen to that confident voice. So I'm just always interested in the story of people's faith and how it shapes them and motivates them. And essentially, what's the first thing when you do when you wake up in the morning? Is it towards God?
This is great. And I'll say before this interview started, I told you, listen to the Holy Spirit or your gut, Holy Spirit, really. I know you're a man of faith, and ask me whatever question you want to ask. And that was a thought that came to me on the way up here. And maybe this was one of the reasons that I should have asked you that. But when it comes to decision making, my wife and I 100% go to our faith. And in my book that I gave you, and I don't explicitly say it in there for reasons that maybe I won't get into, but 13 years ago I was working in a kitchen. I was making $7.25 an hour. On most nights I was sleeping on a blow-up mattress, sometimes in my car, sometimes on a couch. And I really just didn't see why, what do I have to, what reason should I continue? And I grew up in the church, and it was a Job moment.
Yeah.
Why me? Why? And, it's not for me to understand, but I told God, I was like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. You just show me the path. I don't care what it is, just get me out of this. And 3 years later, I was working for Donald Trump on his campaign. And when I got a call on May 20th and was encouraged to jump in this race, and that was 62 days ago, my wife and I, we went to our decision-making process, which we've always had in every life decision. And we've had a lot of them, especially when you have 5 kids and a lot of different jobs and you're moving around a good bit. We ask God for guidance. It's like King Solomon asked for wisdom, and they brought him two mothers and a baby, and he said split it in half, and the real mom said, the one who says don't split the baby in half, that's the real mother. And I prayed for wisdom and guidance so much, and that's probably why I've had such a crazy, difficult life. But we pray for guidance, and on May 20th, May 21st. This path was very clear. There was no doubt that I needed to step on this path. Now, I don't know if it's to win. Maybe God wanted me to step on this path to come here to Montgomery and talk to you guys. I don't know. Yeah. But faith is what drives all of our decisions, and it does give you a lot of peace. And it's hard because everybody wants to be in control of their destiny and make their own decisions. But and I'm still getting, I can always do better, but that is how we live our life and our faith, and it's we let God make the decisions for us, and hopefully that we know exactly what He wants. Sometimes it's obscure, but that's how we make our decisions.
Well, and it's also incredible, as you said, 13 years ago, you're in a really rough spot. It sounds like, and I'd imagine you could talk for hours about how rough that spot was. But it's not just, I work for Donald Trump, or you're here in this radio studio, or you're running for office. I think it's remarkable as a guy who's about to turn 38 and I'm still a bachelor. It's kind of amazing that you have a wife and 5 kids now, man. And what a difference a decade essentially makes when you put your hands in God, man.
It is, I'll be honest, it's scary. I think, what is the saying? For whom much is given, much is expected. Mm. When I was on that blow-up mattress, looking at the AC unit in the window and wondering what the future path looks like, I would have done anything to have what I have today. I could not be more thankful for what I have, what God's given me. And I've been put in a really unique position. I never thought I would run for Congress when I was working in a kitchen, frying chicken fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm here. I'm doing a radio show in Montgomery. This is insane. I have 5 beautiful, healthy, smart children. I have a wonderful wife. We actually own our house. We're debt free.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Isn't that crazy? And the way that
awesome.
happened, that is a story. Let me tell you, I owned a house before my father did. And this is I know there's going to be a moment where I'm putting this is its own story. I know there's going to be a moment where I'm put in a position where I have to make a really hard decision, but I'm there to make that decision. And I'm just waiting for that time. But
what are the age ranges for the kids?
7, 6, 5, 4.
There we go.
And then our youngest turned 1 in May. And we were having kids through the first term and through COVID and moving. And, when I went up for the second term, I had to leave my pregnant wife. She was 8.5 months pregnant. Look,
I bet
you
she was
guys
happy
should have
for
had
you.
her come speak to you. She is incredible. She said, David, go up there. I'll take care of the babies down here.
Wow.
Because I don't know if they call it a crunchy mom, where it's like really natural
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
tree hugger.
I wouldn't say tree hugger, but natural Maha stuff. She's like, the last 2 babies we've had have been at home.
Okay.
Which I'm telling you is
Wow.
a life hack.
I imagine.
It's a life hack. But Emily wanted to have the baby, Maureen, at home. And so she stayed in Alabama, and I went up to D.C., and I was living in a basement for a few months, and then we had Maureen, and they came up. But I honestly, I got a little distracted there on the beginning of that question, but
well, just the age ranges. By the way, I forgot to tell you. Like, you can always. This guy can smack him in the face if you
Well,
want.
I go down rabbit holes sometimes.
Right. But no, and we're running out of time here. I just wanted to hit some of that biography part because it seems like you've been on quite a journey, and everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a journey, and I think it's great that. Honestly, I saw that video and I did my usual radio thing. And because there was, walking away, I was like, yeah, there's more to this fella. And so I'm glad you're sitting here and have been sitting here right in front of me for the last hour and a half. And you're always welcome back to call in, stop by. Because, we've had Hampton on because he was here before they changed the district up, and we'll have Red on tomorrow. But you're right. There are not a lot of folks that are even paying attention in this campaign. And folks often ask me who to vote for or why would you vote for somebody. It's your vote. You can vote for any reason you please. And it could be on a policy thing. It could be an experience thing. It could be like, wow, I really like that guy's story, or just like how that guy presents himself or how he thinks about things, though I can't say the exact thing it is. So I would encourage folks to, after hearing this, to check out more of your speeches. It sounds like you have a lot of content out there.
Yeah.
That's not just a standard stump speech. And that's David Matthews for Congress. On
Correct. Actually, I can make this easier for the viewers. So if you go to my Facebook page and just search David Matthews for Congress, I am only following 5 different people. And those are my opponents.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's very easy.
That's
if you want
very
to
easy
make
to
a fair comparison, you just go to my page and you click on who I'm following and then go through the whole gambit and make a decision. So,
well, I appreciate the time, David. I really do.
It's good to meet you.
Yeah. It's great meeting y'all. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for the books.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let me know what you think.
My phone's been blowing up, so you have definitely impressed some people today.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me.
No problem.
Quick half-minute break, then we'll bring Ray Bowles
Yes.
on the radio, and he was in studio yesterday. He sat in your lap.
Yes, he did.
That was strange, seeing a grown man sit in another grown man's lap. That was
I was comfortable with it.
those are the
Ray
folks I
Bowles.
work with. So. Anyway, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back.
You know, you get some lame guests sometimes, I'll be honest, but this guy was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought he was pretty awesome.
Pretty good. I give you credit on that one, buddy.
I just say, and I just told them off air, I don't try to have individual expectations, but I have kind of the general expectation of somebody running for office coming in to talk, and he far exceeded.
Oh, 1,000%.
And feel like there really is a lot if you sat down for hours.
Oh, yeah.
And it wouldn't always be the same thing. If that makes any sense.
Agreed.
But I look forward to seeing
we got him tomorrow?
Rhett Marquez tomorrow.
Okay.
And give him plenty of time as well, as long as he wants to stay. And yeah, we'll see how many people show up.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because we were talking about the people that are not familiar with the election. I'm one of them.
Let's go to Ray Bowles with Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
What up, Ray?
Good morning. How y'all doing? Afternoon.
Well, doing pretty good this afternoon.
Eddie seems a little lonely sitting over in that chair by himself.
I keep looking at the door waiting for you to come in, Ray.
I've had more people ask me today, did you really sit in his lap to do your ad? I was like, yes, I did. Best ad I've ever done.
I agree.
That was great. I got to come by more often.
I wish you would. And I love the shirts, man. When you get the shirts ready, I'll be glad to sport one.
Well, and our supervisor, Mark, told me to tell you to behave yourself.
Yes.
Yes, I will try my best to behave myself. But I'm actually sitting here at the desk designing a shower right now, and that's things we don't really talk a lot about. But we really are. I mean, if you can put it in your mind, and I hate to say this, AI. Oh, it's almost like a cuss word around here. But if you create something and you bring it to me, 9 times out of 10, we're going to find it and make it happen. Is that right? Yeah, she said that's right. And she has 3 of them that are almost impossible to find. She's dreading coming in here. And when she walked in the door, I'm like, here you go, boom, boom, boom. And it was just that easy, wasn't it? Right. Yeah.
Nice, Ray.
Yeah, exactly. So if y'all are building a home and you need help designing showers and you need help finding stuff, call us at 285-8117. We'll be glad to help you.
Hey, Ray, don't forget when you're designing that shower, the drains, they go in the bottom.
They do go in the bottom. And we have drain covers that match the tile. Or you can go, actually, you can do a drain cover that you put that's tileable. So you put the tile on it, and all you see is a little square, like the grout's missing, but it's actually your drain.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
No, Eddie, I saw this shower the other day. Made me stop in my tracks. I think it was designed by Prattville Carpet.
Yeah.
Stopped in my track. I'm like, its drain goes all the way to the bottom.
Oh, yeah. It's very important. Side. You don't want side drainage.
It's a good shower.
The side drains don't work well.
Yep. That's right.
So, hey, Mark's in the studio today, right?
Yes, he's here.
All right. Well, Mark, I'm almost got to the size of the shirts ready. I got one more being made, and then we're going to pull the trigger, and I'll order your shirts for you.
Excellent. He's excited as I am.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great day.
See you, Ray.
And again, that's 285-8117 to get in touch with Prattville Carpet. Be sure to tell them you heard Ray on the radio. Did we learn anything today?
Learned a lot about David Matthews.
I like David Matthews.
Yes.
Like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
and drains go in the bottom of the showers.
Indeed,
not
they
forget
do. They go on the bottom, all the way to the
the way to the bottom.
All right. And I learned that Eddie loves smoothies.
Trying to be healthy, Joey.
I don't know if that's healthy, man.
How is that not healthy? It's a smoothie.
No,
it's a fruit
That
smoothie.
seems like the sort of thing a chubby girl would drink, saying she's healthy. No, it's kind of like, I'm eating a salad, I'm being healthy. I'm like, how much ranch are you putting on there, big boy?
It's scooters. I scooted on around.
A nutritionist literally would tell you to get a burger instead.
I'm so sick of hearing you people. Can't have nothing.
But he was just sipping on it like,
It's fruit smoothie.
Ooh, and I put some protein in it.
Yeah,
so,
I got a scoop of protein.
Good.
There's no pleasing you people.
I'm sorry, Greg. I was just making fun of Eddie here for his smoothie.
Take all the time you need.
Do you always get the same flavor?
Generally, yes. Yes.
Oh, wait. So you're always a strawberry.
Either that or a
guy.
dragon fruit. Yeah.
Dragon fruit.
I knew you were going to mock me for the dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit?
Yes. Dragon fruit.
Ever get mango?
Occasionally, when we're in Jamaica, we do the mango.
Okay, weirdo.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. War Secretary Pete Hegseth estimates that the Iran war so far has cost $37.5 billion.